Well, look who's joined us on the final day. It's Poncha, the mascot for Madeira 2022. Good morning, Poncha. Sleep well? Do you sleep in water or a bed? I was thinking about this yesterday.
Muito bom dia a todos, bom dia Poncha. A Poncha veio dar os bons dias a toda a gente aqui. Este aqui é o último dia do Campeonato Mundial de Natação Adaptada Madeira 2022.
Please do wear your face mask over your nose and mouth inside this venue at all times, please. And if you want to send us a tweet, you can do, as Poncha is saying on the board, hashtag Madeira 2022. You can see that Poncha, the real-life Poncha, is back off to the buffet at the hotel.
E não esquecer pedido da Poncha para usarem a máscara o tempo inteiro dentro do edifício da piscina. E ainda utilizarem o hashtag Madeira 2022 em cada publicação que façam nas redes sociais, interagindo assim connosco e com a Poncha, que vai agora fazer a sua dança.
Well, good morning now. The final day, can you believe it? We wait all that time and eventually it just flies by. The final day of Madeira 2022. Good morning to everybody out there. My name's Alan Marks. This is Nuno Cadete and we've been absolutely delighted to bring you this competition and we're hoping for even more great action here on the final day.
Bom dia e bem-vindos a este que é o último dia do Madeira 2022, o Campeonato Mundial de Natação Adaptada da World Paralympic. Estamos aqui, é o último dia, mas temos muito para vos contar durante o dia de hoje. Este que é o dia final, eu e o Alan estamos aqui o resto do dia para vos dar todas as novidades.
Well, you might wonder why I'm wearing my sunglasses, because the athletes have been shining so bright inside this pool. We've had world records every single day, and we had 5 on one day a couple of days back. 2 yesterday. I'm sure they'll dazzle us again today.
Estava o Alan a dizer que trouxe os óculos escuros dele para que o brilho dos atletas, que tem sido imenso, não ofusque todo este espetáculo que está aqui a ser feito. Tivemos muitos recordes mundiais, já falámos disso várias vezes e hoje esperamos que voltem a acontecer.
Well, we do get one of those records. When we do, we'll be pressing this button right here, our new world record button, and we'll let the screen do the rest.
E sempre que houver recorde mundial, já sabem, nós tocamos aqui neste botão e o resto acontece aí nesse ecrã diretamente para vocês.
Okay, so it's very important that we tell you something about the Athlete Advisory Group. Take a look at this. You've still got time. It runs until 7 o'clock tonight, from 9 till 12 and 3:30 till 7. Hear this today, just on the second floor, outside the lift. If you need to vote, please make sure you do so. It's really important we get those votes in for the Athlete Advisory Group.
Good morning and welcome once again back to Madeira. We are here for the final day of action at the World Para Swimming Championships 2022. There is the Paralympic Pools Complex perched on the hillside in Funchal, the capital of the island of Madeira. Here's the scene inside the pool this morning. It's going to be another great day of heats, probably the longest day of heats we've had. The first 6 days have shown us great action. Wow, some great scenes of this very picturesque island in the Atlantic Ocean. Here's what we're going to expect today from this morning's session. Heats almost all the way. We have a couple of races that will be awarding the medals from the heat swim this morning, so we'll just advise you of them when they happen. Number of strokes, number of distances, number of classifications as well. Just a reminder, S1 to S10, those with physical impairment, where S1 is the most severe, S10 the least impaired, S11 to 13 for those with visual impairments, and S14 for those with intellectual impairments. Finish off the morning with the very exciting heats of the 34-point relay. My name's Paul Noble. I'll be taking you through the action for one final day. And I'm joined yet again by Liz Johnson. Morning, Liz.
Morning, Paul. Look at that. We're just seeing what will be a very busy call room this morning. There's a lot of heats for this final session.
Yeah, there is. As mentioned earlier, I think it's probably the longest heat session we've had all week.
I think I would agree. Looking at the timeline, still got a lot of distance events to go. So those 400s, there's some heat to that. The relays, there's some heat to that. And then still some 200 freestyles.
And there's Poncha, the mascot. We're having a discussion about Poncha last night. As we've been calling Poncha a dolphin all week.
Yeah, well, apparently it's a whale.
so
but we did a little survey at dinner, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it was a 50-50 split, really. But either way, Poncha's pretty cute. And you got your photo with Poncha.
I have got my photo yesterday, yeah, that's the main thing.
Yeah. Have you got a mascot wall in your house?
What, the one pictures
in
of the mascots?
Office?
No, that was an idea though. Yeah. Thanks, Liz. Give me something to look forward to going home.
Well, you can see that we've talked about all week how the swimmers move through that call zone area in sort of a conveyor belt, and we saw the women walking out, and now so the men in the next event, they follow, and then through the tunnel there you can see the athletes for the S10 100 meters backstroke, the women's event, which will be the next event there as well. So people they sign in, they check their name off, and then they continually move through until they're taken up that ramp to the back of the curtain before they walk out for their big moment.
Yeah, they'll be put in order of the lanes that they are swimming to make sure no one comes out in the wrong lane. Make sure everyone's in their correct place, so there's checks at every step of the swimmers going through that marshalling process. There's the two big screens where the swimmers will just come out from the middle of those screens, showing us the sights of Madeira. We haven't really had a chance to see all the tourist sites, have we, Liz? It's been so busy.
It has, but the swimming's been worth it. So I'm feeling excited for this one. We've said a lot of the stroke specialists had to wait all week, and this SB8 100 meters breaststroke is definitely one of those events that people have been waiting for.
Yeah, there's the lineup for the one and only heat of the women's 100 breaststroke SB8. We have to go down to 8 swimmers. Top 8 swimmers will qualify for the final. We have 10 swimmers taking the start. So we'll have to lose 2 from these heats. There is the Paralympic champion, Ellen Keane from Ireland. Great swim that she had in Tokyo. Take that gold. She was bronze medalist in Rio behind Katarina Roxon of Canada. Took that gold in 2016, the Canadian. So a quality field here. Anastasia Dimitriv, the 13-year-old from Spain. Might just cause a shock with the big names here.
Yeah, and it is Ireland's Ellen Keane's first event and only event of this World Championships programme. She pulled out of the 200 metres individually earlier in the week, so it's the first time that she's taking to the water. She's wearing that pink suit in lane 4. We've seen Roxon and Dimitriv in the relays earlier in the programme, and Anastasia Dimitriv of Spain has been a real addition to the Spanish team. She's going very strongly. She swam well in Berlin earlier this year, and at the turn it is Keane, 39.35, just 0.15 ahead of Roxon, and the Spanish athlete is currently in 3rd position. It's these 3 that are stroking it out at the head of the field. They'll be looking to make sure of their place in the final this evening. But there's quite a battle on behind for those other places.
Yeah, 2 experienced swimmers at the front of the field. Roxon and Keane made their Paralympic debut. Both made their Paralympic debut back in 2008 in Beijing as real youngsters back then. But the 13-year-old this time is mixing it with the big names. Looks like Ellen Keane might just touch to finish first, just by 1/10 of a second. Dimitriv. Good swim again from the youngster. She picked up medal earlier in the individual medley this week, also in the Spanish relay team. But Ellen Keane, she'll be pleased to get in the water at last.
Yeah, it's been a long wait. You see the breaststrokers waiting when they're specific. Sometimes that's all they swim. You try and swim something else. We've seen a few of the other breaststrokers in other classifications maybe dipping into the 50 freestyle or one other event to prepare, but all of these 3 athletes we just saw there in those centre lanes, breaststroke is their baby. It's the one that they would love to take the victory in.
Yeah, 3 of them very similar impairments as well, Liz. They come to the wall pretty close there. Roxon got off to a good start. Ellen Keane just eclipsed her as they come into the turn, and the 3 swimmers who we think are going to be 3 of the main contenders for the medals tonight. There's Ellen Keane. What a great year she's had since she won that Paralympic gold in Tokyo. A real star in her native country of Ireland, and she takes that one 1/10 of a second ahead of Dimitriv. Katarina Roxon clear in 3rd position. We did have a disqualification, but it didn't affect the top 3 positions, and those 3 will go into the final. Fukada from Japan in 4th place. Another teenager, 16 years of age, the Japanese swimmer. We saw the men earlier in the call room, and they're making their way out for their one and only heat as well. Again, 10 swimmers in this one, and they will drop to 8 for the final. And again, the breaststroke specialists here in this SB8 class having to wait right to the end of this 7-day meet. We are missing 1 swimmer actually, and that was the Portuguese hero from last night, or one of them, Diogo. Individual medley. Great night for the host nation yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, they've waited a long time. They've had promise, opportunity for a medal for the home nation, and finally last night in that final session they managed to pick up 2, and there was a lot of noise in this venue when the medals got confirmed, but also when they got presented.
I know there was a little bit of a wait, a little bit of a longer wait than usual to see if there was any disqualifications. Always a nervous time, but it was confirmed. 2 bronze medals for the host nation last night, and the other bronze medalist, Marco Meneses, will be going very shortly in an event where she's hoping to pick up another medal. In this one though, in the middle lane, Vicente Almonacid Hale, representing Chile. He was here in Madeira last year in the European Open Championships. He took a silver medal. Right next to him, Federico Morlacchi, and one of the favourites for the title will be Oscar Salguero Galisteo, the Paralympic champion back in 2016.
Yeah, it's Salguero Galisteo going strongly down this first 50. He turns first, 33.54 with the Chilean in second, and Tim Hodge of Australia going well up in lane 2 to be 3rd place at the turn.
Well, these two did compete against each other here last year. The Chilean swimmers swam very well just to get in ahead of the Spaniard. But it looks like it's going the other way. Tim Hodge going well with that yellow cap of Australia. Great swim he had in the individual medley, take that down that long-standing world record. It's going to be the Spaniard though in first, 1:12.58 for him. He's got a great record in the major championships over the past few years, followed by the Chilean swimmer Almonacid Hale and Andres Onea, himself a Paralympic medalist back in Rio. He is in 3rd position, Tim Hodge in 4th.
Well, that looked comfortable there for Salguero Galisteo. He'll be happy to get through that heat. Just everyone's looking at the board as ever, waiting for those confirmation of the results.
Yeah, it's unofficial again, Liz. Been made to wait, these swimmers this morning. There's Salguero Galisteo. Took that Paralympic title in 2016, won the world title in 2017. He's been European champion as well, so he's got the complete set, the Spaniard. There he goes in the black cap. Just stretching away from Almonacid Hale in the closing stages there. Andres Onea will be pleased to get in for 3rd position. I think we're okay. Salguero Galisteo confirmed as a winner. Oh, we do have a disqualification, but again, doesn't affect the top 4 places there. Galisteo, Almonacid Hale, Onea, Hodge, Morlacchi also in there in lane number 5. Young New Zealander Joshua Wilmer in 6. And Ron Wolpert in 7th place. Martinez Fernandez in 8th place. So no major dramas so far, Liz. All the main contenders making their way through.
Yeah, they've set up some exciting finals already this evening. As I said, a lot of the breaststrokers, it is their main focus, the one they wait for. And so these heats come with anticipation.
Now here's the 100 backstroke for the women, S10. Two French swimmers in this one. Don't think the French have hit the top of the podium yet, Liz.
No, they've picked up a number of silver medals. They're doing well. That elusive gold medal awaits. Maybe today is the day. They've got a few chances in this program today.
Amel Roulet going in lane number 4. Our teammate is Emmeline Pierre. Two French backstrokers. They've taken World Championship medals before in 2017 and European medals last year as well, right here. Lisa Kruger from the Netherlands goes in lane number 5. She's had a great week, Lisa Kruger. Two French swimmers side by side. Audrey Kim right up there in lane number 2. Hunsaker in 6 and Tatiana Brun closest to us in 7.
Well, Emmeline Pierre of France did get off to a good start, but already we can see that strong stroke rate of Lisa Kruger. She's always got a very high turnover, whatever stroke she's swimming, and that's what has won her a couple of her medals this week in the closing stages. It's very close here as we go into the first turn, the only turn. Roulet of France is in the lead, 34.27. Kruger separating the French athletes. Emmeline Pierre currently in third position at the turn.
Yeah, Lisa Kruger, as I said, had a great week. A couple of gold medals to her name already. She also featured in the Dutch relay team. But Anel Roulet looking very good here. French swimmer might be France 1 and 2 as they come into the wall. Kruger maybe just edging Pierre, but Roulet 1:10.01 for the French swimmer. That's a good time. That's the fastest time we've seen her go this year. Second place was Kruger, just getting in ahead of Emmeline Pierre by 0.3 of a second. There's Lisa Kruger. There's the two French swimmers. They should be safely into that final. 6 swimmers due to take start in the next heat. So, as always, the top 8 will go forward to that final this evening. There was a start there. So now Roulet, Lisa Kruger get away very well. There's the turn. It was side by side, but good second 50 from the French swimmer, Roulet.
Yeah, Roulet looked strong there down that second 50. Attacked that heat. She'll be pleased to take that victory in heat number 1.
We talked about the breaststrokers. Let's wait until the last day of competition. These backstrokers as well, especially the French swimmers. Lisa Kruger has had a number of big events this week, but the two French swimmers have waited all week for this. That's tough, isn't it?
It can be, but sometimes it's a bit easier because then you can treat it as maybe a 1-day meet or a 2-day program, and you can get that taper and preparation into it correct. If you've got a big program, it's very difficult to figure out which race you're going to target resting for.
Well, two swimmers with big programs in middle lane. Bianca Papp going in for Hungary. And in lane 5, Aurélie Rivard, the gold and silver medalist from the Paralympic Games last year. Of course, we saw Bianca Papp and Aurélie Rivard. Thought it was going to be a head-to-head in the 400 freestyle earlier this week, but of course, Aurélie Rivard pulled up. A little bit concerned for Rivard, but she returned last night in the 100 freestyle, and well, there was no cause for concern because she absolutely stormed away to win gold.
She did, and she's going well here, as is Papp in that centre lane, but also Australia's Jasmine Greenwood up at the top. Another Australian swimming well from an outside lane. The yellow cap of the Australian has been taking her races out quickly this week, and it's Papp at the turn, but just 0.1 of a second ahead of Jasmine Greenwood, with Rivard of Canada holding on to that third spot. As with the first heat, it's those 3 athletes that are moving away from the rest of the field, and now we can see Bianca Papp, who has got the fastest time in the world this year, leading the way home.
And Bianca Papp really had a very good 2021. She took the European title, she took the Paralympic title. Hungarians really performed well last year. She comes in 1:10.84, slightly slower than the first heat. Rivard exactly a second behind, and Greenwood in third position. Francisca Castro from Spain is the next one home in fourth position. But those top 3 should be safely into that final, Liz. It's going to be a very interesting final, I think. Bianca Papp looked good though.
Yeah, 2021 ended up being a year where these S10 women sort of all bunched up in terms of their results. And there was some very, very tight racing across the Paralympic program. And the confidence that those athletes have got seems to have been brought into this season as well, and they're producing some very, very good swims.
And Rivard, I kind of always think of her as a freestyler, but she's got a great record in this backstroke event, hasn't she?
Yeah, and she enjoys the backstroke too, and it's good to see her back after that 400 metres freestyle.
Pap takes it ahead of Rivard. Jasmine Greenwood, the in-form Australian, will go into the final as well. She finishes third in that heat. Francisca Castro, I think she'll make it as well, the Spanish swimmer, in fourth position in that heat. There are the qualifiers. Arnel Roulet from France leads the way. Bianca Pap in second. 2 Canadians in that final, and 2 from France as well. There's a Portuguese team, and they've got, I say we've got 2 medals for them. Yesterday, got a good chance. Is that Susana Vega just waving there? As we come out to the next event, which is the 400 freestyle for the S11 class. We like the S11 class, don't we?
We like all the classifications, Paul, but yes, the S11 classification very much.
Yes, sorry, we like all the classifications.
You mean it does add an extra layer of anticipation. There's a few more things to consider. The athletes don't have any sight at all, and then they've got that. So they've got that additional element of the turns and the tapping sticks and ensuring that they're able to get going in a straight line and not veer off, because obviously that's where some of the drama comes from in these events.
The Humphrey twins go next to each other in lane 0 and lane 1. We have 9 swimmers in this one. Again, we're just going to lose 1 swimmer to progress to that top 8. There's Anastasia Pagones, Paralympic Games gold medalist last year, world record holder. 4:54.49. That was an incredible swim in the Tokyo Paralympic Games. Lisette Bruinsma is the championship record holder. There she is. Yes, Pagones. It's hard to see past the American melee for this one. Anastasia Pagones been in great form already this week. Lisette Bruinsma, well, she is a tough competitor. She was silver behind Pagones in Tokyo. She did win in the Rio Paralympic Games, and she won the world title last time out in 2019. It's the S11 class. So swimmers with no vision.
And there you can see already in lane 5, Lisette Bruinsma going well out front. She will have heard how well Anastasia Pagones is swimming here, and she's trying to get away well. She got a really good start off the block there, Bruinsma, but expect Pagones in that white cap of the United States of America on the left of your screen to settle into her rhythm and comfortably qualify for this final. At the turn it is Bruinsma, 33.87. Pagones just 0.26 seconds behind, and Tatiana Blatanova of Slovakia. She'd love to add to her medals this week. She turned third the first turn in 37.22. But now you can see going down those 2 middle yellow lanes, Bruinsma and Pagones pretty much stroke for stroke. They got very different strokes. Pagones with that high elbow, stretch forward and pull through, whereas Bruinsma, she more strokes the top of the water. She has her hands almost facing up as she goes in, and the turn was better from Pagones there. Bruinsma went in first, but Pagones got the spacing and the timing better, so her feet went onto the wall. She pushed off, whereas Bruinsma was a little bit close to that wall then and had to reset herself as she set off down the second 100.
Pagones doing a good job here. Try and stay Looks like she's staying a little bit straighter than Brunsma, who just veers off to the, the left there as he speak. Just skirting the lane ropes with the left arm there. Pagonis pushing off just down the left-hand side of the lane. Pagonis now is the one who just hits that lane rope. And we can see this in the S11 races, Liz. We see these quality swimmers go out ahead, but just that one little lapse could make a massive difference. Maybe not quite so much in the 400, and it's really the quality swimmers, about how the way they recover from things like that, because they are going to hit the lane ropes with the best will in the world. If you swim with no vision at all, you're going to struggle to stay straight down the middle of that lane.
Yeah, we can see here as they come into the halfway point with Pagonis turning in 2:30.03. She very much employs a technique where she stays to the same side of the lane, swimming in both directions. So she goes up on the right and then comes down on the left, whereas Brunsma alternates more which side of the lane rope she swims on. At the moment, she's swimming down the black line, but you can see here how she's veering off to that left lane and lane line. And so quite often you see the S11 athletes in these longer distances trying to pick a lane rope that they're going to stick to, and then they might skim it, but they look to use it as a direction. And Pagonis has got really, really good turns. Her turns are very, very consistent. And actually in this 400 meters, there are a lot of turns, and that at the moment is where Pagonis is getting the advantage. She's more consistent. She's hitting those turns every time, whereas Brunsma has had some really good turns, but also she's had a few where she's just been too close to the wall or even too far away. And Pagonis now opened up a 10-meter lead over Lizette Brunsma. They're the only two athletes in the shot at the front of the field, and Pagonis will turn now with 100 meters to go. 49.51 for her. You can just see as she's leaving the 5-meter zone, Brunsma was entering a better turn there for Brunsma. That's probably her best turn that she's had. She turns in 3:58.01, and coming in the third position at the moment is the second American, McLean Hermes, going very well. She turned in 4:08.51. Pretty even spread there. Pagonis about 10 meters ahead of Brunsma, who's about 10 meters ahead of McLean Hermes, as Pagonis comes to hit the final turn and head down that last 50 meters.
Yeah, she's been very consistent, Anastasia Pagonis. Almost metronomic there in her strokes. Stroke rate hasn't really changed that much all the way through this 400 freestyle. Again, it's difficult for the S11 swimmers. They can't really afford to take it easy. They're not sure what their competitor is going to do. But the main contenders for this one will know that they are significantly faster than the rest of the field. But Pagonis, well, she's not hanging about too much as she comes into the finishing couple of strokes there, and she finishes in 5:08.04. It's a clear victory for Anastasia Pagonis. Well done for the American there. Lizette Brunsma is going to be in second position. 5:23 for Brunsma. And McLean Hermes in third place. Brunsma's goggles seem to be just have snapped at the front there, Liz.
Yeah, Brunsma's had that goggle problem before. I think it was back in Dublin in 2018.
That's right, yeah.
And you can see here, though, as we finish off now, Blatanova coming in for Slovakia. She pulls her cap right down over the goggles, and we do see that with the S11 sometimes. They pull the cap over to prevent their goggles falling off, but that would have been difficult for Brunsma because it looked like they snapped at the nose piece.
Yeah, it was Brunsma, I think that she set the world record back in Dublin in 2018. She had a problem with the goggles there. I mean, the officials will check that. The blacked out goggles, of course, have to be worn for the S11 swimmers. They'll be checked after the race. But we remember talking to the technical delegate back in Dublin about that. If it's an equipment failure, it's not going to be a disqualification matter for the Dutch swimmer. There's one of the Humphrey sisters getting their goggles checked. They've had a good debut championships. Two Humphreys from Great Britain, 17-year-olds.
Yeah, and Scarlett Humphreys had a slightly busier programme than her sister at this competition, but Eliza was coming in as the higher ranked Humphrey twin in that one, and she finished in a time of 6:07.25 to her sister's 6:14.28. So we'll wait to see those results get confirmed, but there's no doubt there about who was in control of that heat at the front. Pagonis and Brunsma looking very strong.
There's the two main contenders there. There's McLean Hermes coming in for third position. We're still gonna get some goggles checks done before the result is made official. Pagonis looked good though, didn't she?
Yeah, very strong, and that time at the top indicates that.
Yeah, Pagonis will progress to that final in first place. Lisette Brunsma safely through. McLean Hermes in third position. And Eliza Humphrey is the one to progress to the final ahead of her sister. Brunsma and Pagonis will be the main two favourites for that one, Liz. And as you said, Pagonis was really, really good, really consistent, but it was almost the inconsistencies of the turn from Lisette Brunsma that really cost her there.
Yeah, and she'll try to sort those out ahead of the final this evening, because she got off to a very good start, and down that first 50 they were pretty much swimming stroke for stroke.
Yeah, it's a chance there for the Dutch swimmer tonight, that's for sure. Pagonis though will be the favourite going into that final. And another 400 freestyle to come in the S11 classification. It's the men this time, 2 heats. Of this one, 5 swimmers in the first heat and 6 swimmers in the second. Uchu Tomita from Japan in lane number 4, Paralympic silver medalist. Paralympic bronze medalist from Brazil as well. Matias de Souza goes in lane number 5. There's Uchu Tomita. The Spanish swimmer Jose Cantero Herrera. He was in the Spanish relay team. They've taken medals in the 49-point relay. Matias de Souza as well. Saw an excellent relay yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah, he was on that first leg for the Brazilian team, and he really held his own and pulled away. He'll be really impressed with how he swam there. But obviously this is the longer distance now, so got to park that sprint pace and go for the endurance over those 8 lengths.
Some big names to come in the second heat, so no hanging about here for these men in this first heat. Tomita in the middle, bright cap of the Brazilian down there in lane number 5. Matthew Cabraja closest to us, a Canadian. Right at the top is Guðfinnur Karlsson from Iceland, and Spanish swimmer is 1 line down from the top, just in third position there as they go over that first turn. Good turn there from Tomita, very quick over, wasn't it?
Yeah, his rotation was fast and his push off the wall was great. De Souza got back straight up onto that lane line. We talked about this in the women's event, how the athletes have their preference of where they swim, and if they can stick to that lane line and get there as quickly as possible, it does reduce the opportunity and the chances that they will veer off through the lane ropes. But we can see Tomita's had a good second 50. He's going to turn first in a time of 105.14. De Souza 106.63, second over the Brazilian, and the Spaniard Cantera Herrera 110.07 to turn in third.
We were speaking to some of the Japanese swimmers yesterday, weren't we? Kaiichi Kimura, Takayuki Suzuki, and of course Tomita and Kimura, they both swim in the S11 class. Tomita is actually the older of the two, but he's the least experienced. He's kind of come along maybe a few years after Kimura. Kimura, the more experienced, been around World Championships, he was telling us, since 2010.
Yeah, you get that in para swimming though. People come in at all different ages, depending on where their exposure and opportunity has come from, depending, not necessarily in this specific case, but depending on whether they've acquired their impairment or they were born with it. So age isn't such a number in a para sport competitive environment as it might be seen when you're looking at non-disabled sport. So Tomita going over here, he's looking very strong. He's just making some gains, a few gains every 50 meters. 218.04 there for Tomita at the turn, 221.92 Correa de Souza, and then Quintero Elvira, Spain, still in that third position, 227.13 for the athlete in the third lane. He's pulling away from Matthew Cabraja of Canada, who's going well in fourth position at the moment.
Yeah, there is Tomita. There's Spanish swimmer Quintero Elvira. Tomita coming in to the 250 mark. And Tomita was one of the big stars of the Paralympic Games in his home country in Tokyo, winning a couple of silvers and a bronze medal for the host nation. And they really kind of ramped up the preparation for the Tokyo Paralympics. They didn't get a gold medal, the Japanese team, in the pool in Rio. That was a little bit of a concern for them, but they really stepped up for their home games.
Yeah, they did, and they had some really impressive successes, and they've carried that momentum into this World Championships. And actually, when we were talking to Kiichi Kimura and Taka Suzuki, they were saying that how proud they were of how well the team was doing here. You never quite know what's going to happen at a major championships after a Paralympic Games, but they've delivered, they've come back strongly, and you do see that, don't you? Like when a host nation has a Paralympics, they really build their squad, and then for the next few years after that, maybe even the next few cycles, they maintain that strength and that legacy that is achieved.
Yeah, absolutely. I do remember way back when I first started, the Spanish team was very, very strong after they kind of built up for those Barcelona Paralympics in '92. There's some swimmers here swimming at these championships who swam in those Barcelona Paralympics, but the Spanish team there, they kind of rode the crest of the wave for that team for many years to come, and they continue to be strong in para swimming.
Yeah, absolutely, and Tomita is doing exactly that for Japan. There we can see Quintero Elvira still going very well in this. The Spaniards do have good pedigree in the visually impaired classification groups, but it's Tomita that comes in to take that first place. 4:45.91 for him. De Souza of Brazil maintained that second place the entire way through the race, 4:55.75. And it is the Spaniard Quintero Elvira who holds on again to that third that he swam all the way through, 5:02.79 for him.
Yeah, 4:45 for the Japanese swimmer. That's the fastest time in the world this year. Marco Meneses was first in the world rankings at 4:48. So that's gone ahead of the Portuguese swimmer. So good swim from Ucho Tomita. He did swim significantly faster in those Tokyo Games, so we know he's capable of going under the 4:40 mark. The 4:45 there, and the only other swimmer under the 5-minute mark was Matheus de Souza of Brazil. So those two will be safely into the final with only 6 swimmers to come. Goggles have got to be checked, of course, before the result is made official. Tomita looking very good. There's the tap. We were talking about the tapping yesterday, Liz. The freestyle looks one of the easiest to tap, just on the back of the head. There is Matheus de Souza finishing now. Spanish swimmer Just a little tap on the head there. Waiting for that official result to come through. Tomita confirmed as the winner of that Heat 1. Dias de Souza in second. Cantero Oliveira in third position. Matthew Cabraja in fourth. That might be a vital positional finish there ahead of Carlson. See if the Canadian can make the final. Next heat to come though, 6 swimmers: Roger Dorsman, Michailo Srbin, Marco Meneses, the medalists last night from the 100 backstroke. And there is Roger Dorsman, the championship record set in London in 2019. The world record, we were talking about this the other day, Liz. John Morgan from the USA set back in Barcelona in 1992. I spoke to Roger Dorsman in the Berlin World Para Series, and this was one record that he said that he would wanted to wipe off the record books.
Yes, and he's mentioned it again this week that it is a focus for him, and he's having a fantastic competition here at the World Championship. 4 gold and 2 silver medals already to his name, and you would expect him to feature in the fight for another one this evening. He's going very well here in the early stages. He had a great backstroke yesterday, but Michailo Srbin in that lane closest to us from Ukraine, he had such fast swimming speed in that backstroke. Dorsman had the better turn, but Srbin finished so strongly at the end here. But it will be Dorsman that leads after the first 100, 104.97 for him. Marco Menezes of Portugal getting that second touch as they go over, 106.99, and then Srbin 107.40. They're out in front of the rest of the field, going well. The perfect spearhead opening up there. Dorsman pulling away. Srbin just coming level with Marco Menezes now. You can see Dorsman on the right lane line. Srbin is right next to the same lane line, but he's about 3 meters behind us. Dorsman just goes over there, 139.86, and Srbin now has moved just a second almost ahead of Marco Menezes. But Marco Menezes got around the wall very well there for Portugal.
Yeah, tall Portuguese swimmer there in lane number 3. What a swim he had in the backstroke yesterday to take that bronze. Great night for the host nation, as we've said. There's Roger Dorsman though, coming up to the halfway point. Just looks so smooth, Roger Dorsman. His turns and his starts are really slick, aren't they?
Yeah, they're very slick, and you can see he's been working on developing his power. The 3 athletes, very different physiques. Dorsman in our shot right now, he's got a powerful torso, strong arms. Srbin's a lot more slight, and Menezes is very, very tall. So they're very different in the way that they swim and where their strengths lie in the water. But throughout this World Championship program, they've come together for some really, really strong battles. But Roger Dorsman looking very comfortable here as he goes over for another length to be completed. At the 250 meter stage, he is 251.69.
Yeah, Dorsman just stretching away there. There is Meneses. Very kind of different stroke to Roger Dorsman. Almost a jerkier stroke for Marco Meneses, bronze medalist. It's very effective though, managing to pull himself through the water. And Dorsman, Les, is a swimmer who's kind of moved down the classification range. He began to lose his sight. He was fully sighted for a number of years, began to gradually lose his sight, and you know that can make a difference, can't it?
Yeah, and you do see a lot of different styles in this S11 classification, mainly for that very reason, because it's very difficult to describe what a stroke is supposed to look like. And even those 2 strokes there, you can see with Srbin and Meneses, different strokes. Srbin's got the higher elbow, Meneses comes more around his body, which is what creates that slightly snaky, jerkier style that you were referring to, Paul. But because it's all dependent on how that person receives that information. And if they've had sight in the past, then they've got things that they can relate it to, or people can go, you know, think about when you saw this, and then you can put that together. But if someone's never had any sight, then everything, their reference points are very, very different. And that's an added dimension in this S11 classification.
Meneses is doing a good job, though. He is just challenging for second position, but here comes the informed swimmer in this classification, Dorsman, a world champion and Paralympic champion, finishes in 4:41, and that was comfortable for him. Serban just gets the touch over Meneses. They both should progress to the final. And all smiles there for Dorsman. I think he enjoyed that one. That's well within his capabilities, though. Liz holds a European record at 4:28. That was set in the Tokyo Games when he took gold. So that was a 4:41 this morning. Expect him to go a little bit faster in the final tonight. Sergio Zayas from Argentina is in now, and the final swimmer to finish is from Kyrgyzstan. It's Kamchibekov, swimmer who swam in the World Para Series in Berlin. And again, we've seen some of these nations, or wildcard nations that we call them, they get special dispensation so just to increase the participation across the world, isn't it, Liz?
Yeah, so there'll be different. So there's a different qualifying standards for each event, and then the wild cards go to the nations to, like you said, increase the depth, increase the opportunity, because we've seen time and time again this week some excellent performances come from athletes that were inspired by other athletes within their country that went to the Paralympics or have been to the World Championships and had that opportunity. And it drives the momentum within the country, it drives the understanding, it moves everything along, and then increases the opportunity. And then we end up seeing some excellent racing.
Here comes Chebekov representing the Kyrgyzstan team. And he'll be able to go back to his country. Said he was in the same race as the Paralympic champion, Roger Dorsman of Netherlands, just stroking in there. Great technician, Dorsman, as we said. What a close finish for second there with Michailo Serban. Michailo Serban making a habit, really, of getting on the end of these very close finishes. Dorsman takes that one ahead of Serban, ahead of Meneses. David Krotoshvili, we didn't even mention him during the race. Les, the 14-year-old who's been in great form this year, improving almost every time that hit the water. Dorsman, though, will lead Tomita in that final. Two Paralympic Games gold and silver medalists in first and second position. Serban and Meneses qualified very closely. Can we get another host nation medal? Well, women's 100 freestyle in the S7 class is next up. We love the host nation to be successful at these championships, don't we, Liz? Portugal have been great hosts. This is the third major championship that they have hosted in the last, 6 years now.
Yeah, it always just gives there's so many volunteers in this venue involved in this competition that enable it to happen, and it gives them something to be really, really proud about, and they get so excited. Last night the environment was absolutely buzzing with those 2 bronze medals, and then we got back to the hotel and they were like, yeah, but don't forget, it's not over. Tomorrow we've got more chances. And we were like, right, don't worry, we're on it. And it really leads to a good vibe. There's already a good vibe, but it just lifts it, doesn't it? Because everybody shouts for the host nation, even the other countries. We saw last night when they were waiting for Diego Cancellara to have his medal confirmed. All of his competitors were waiting with him, looking at the scoreboard.
And the Portuguese squad, they've kind of built up over the past few years. They've got a small team, but they're not a hugely successful nation. They're not going to win multiple gold medals on every night of competition. They're not an Italy or a USA or a Great Britain. They've got a handful of chances, and to convert just a couple of them, it's been fantastic for them.
Yeah, and to be those big nations that can get those medals every single night, you have to have a very big team that spreads across the classifications, across the different disciplines. And as you said, they don't have the size, but they're only a small country. But here they've got one of their biggest teams ever, and it's been reflected in the performances they've had and the amount of participants they've had across the week.
Well, we'll come back to the host nation a little bit later. Marco Meneses will be in the final for them later on. He's got another chance of a medal. Who is going to make the final here? We have 9 swimmers taking the start for this one, the 100 freestyle for women. S7, 3 from the USA. Mackenzie Cohn goes in lane number 4, right in the middle. Mackenzie Cohn, the reigning world champion. She won that world title in 2019. She also won it in 2017. This is another one of these events where the USA have dominated the world titles over the years. Mackenzie Cohn has won 2, the last 2. Prior to that, Courtney Jordan won 2. Mallory Wegerman won in 2010, and Erin Popovich, who's here with the US team, she won in 2006. So a great record for the US team over the years. Mackenzie Cohn, Julia Gaffney and Alia Lettenberger got a chance to continue that run for the US team. Denise Grahl goes in lane number 3 for Germany. Julia Terzi, we saw there going from the sit start, the blue cap of Italy, may well be a threat to this long run of success for the US.
Yeah, Denise Grahl of Germany will look to get off to a good start as well. She's got a good, strong first 50, but it is that strong straight arm stroke of Mackenzie Cohn going very well. In lane 4 at the moment, the USA athletes wearing their white swimming caps, signifying that we are in a heat session. And she's got a very high stroke rate here, Cohn. She's going to be first at the turn. She'll turn in time of 34.66. Julia Gaffney second, but only by 2/100ths from Julia Terzi, who's going to try and spoil the American party.
She certainly is. She did exactly that in Tokyo, taking the gold medal ahead of Mackenzie Cohn. But in this heats this morning, Mackenzie Cohn really stretching away from the others. Denise Grahl missed out on Tokyo. She had to withdraw through illness. We were saying the other day, Denise Grahl, she seems to have been on the world scene for a number of years, as Mackenzie Cohn touched, but she's only ever done 1 Paralympic Games. Denise Grahl, hard to believe. We seem to be talking about her for a number of years, the German. Finishes in 3rd there. Julia Gaffney finished well in 2nd position there, right down in lane number 6. So it's USA 1 and 2 will progress to the final. Denise Grahl in 3rd. Julia Terzi will be in 4th position. Grahl and Terzi capable of going much faster. So the USA, convincing win for them, convincing win for Mackenzie Cohn, but I think a number of swimmers were sure of qualification there, so probably can't read too much into those heat times.
No, everyone's getting out there looking pretty relaxed. Julia Terzi went out quickly down the first 50 metres, but then really looked like she stepped it back in that second half of the race. But Mackenzie Cohn was clear of the field. She wasn't hanging about, wasn't making any signs that she was willing to let someone else qualify fastest. Mackenzie Cohn wanted that centre lane for the final. It was a good swim from Julia Gaffney, and Denise Grahl coming through there strongly for 3rd. But as you said, Paul, the final might be a different story.
It could well be, but the USA are in 1 and 2. Mackenzie Cohn and Julia Gaffney. Grahl in 3rd, Terzi in 4th, Lettenberger and Sabrina Duchenay from Canada, Canadian medalist in the relay in Tokyo. They will all progress to that final. Again, the USA, great record in this event, as we said. We've got a great record in the freestyle events in this S7 class across the board. Mackenzie Cohn, just the latest in a great run of successful S7 swimmers for the US. Women's 200 freestyle for the S4 classification. Well, this is the event we mentioned early on, and we were doing our introductions for this morning's session. It's a combined event, so we'll have to keep an eye on the swimmers in the S2 and S3 classifications who are swimming up against the S4 swimmers, because the S2 and S3 swimmers will have their own sets of medals, so we'll have to keep our eyes on that, Liz.
Yep, just adds a level excitement, a layer of excitement this morning. Obviously, those athletes will get presented with their medals at the end of this heat session, and the S4 athletes will progress to the finals this evening, where they will battle it out for their place on the podium.
So just looking at who's taking the start. Angela Procida will come in from the side. The Italian swimmer, she is one of the S2 swimmers. Nikita Enns from Canada. He's an S3 swimmer. Amongst in 3, 4 and 6 in the middle. Pereira dos Santos, Vieira da Cruz and Swanepoel. They swim in the S4 class. Not sure if we see lane number 6. So maybe we don't have Kat Swanepoel from South Africa. We do have Larissa Rodriguez, S3 swimmer, coming up there in lane number 7. A range of starts here. This is the S4 classification, incorporating S2s and 3s as well, Liz.
Yeah, the two Brazilians in the centre lanes, Patricia Pereira dos Santos and Lydia Vieira da Cruz, getting away well there. Those yellow hats that are already out and in front. They both have medals from this week already, and they both swam a shift in the 20-point relay team that was successful, with Pereira dos Santos swimming in that heat and Vieira da Cruz swimming in the final. These two athletes are S4, so they will be looking to do a heat swim that will qualify them for the final this evening.
And 200 freestyle. This is the longest distance that these swimmers will swim at these championships. My S6 classification and above for those with physical impairments swim the 400 freestyle. S5 and below will swim the 200 freestyle as their distance freestyle event. And it is the two Brazilians who are going out ahead. Vieira da Cruz, that lead over Pereira dos Santos. Just have a check back on the field as they're just going over at the halfway point. The rest of the field, as these Brazilians stretch that lead. And yeah, coming up to the 100 mark, they're coming up to the halfway point of this 200. 50 metre. And the other three swimmers right across the pool, stretched over there. Larissa Rodriguez, the S3 swimmer, Nikita Enns. We'll see the S4 swimmers, they're just coming past the S3 swimmers, and the S2 swimmer going the other direction.
Well, there's not a lot to choose for between Nikita Enns and Larissa Rodriguez, both swimming against each other in that S3 classification. At the first turn, it was Rodriguez that had the lead by only by 4/100ths of a second, and they're coming in now to the halfway point. As we see in our picture, the two Brazilians, they're at the other end of the pool, the S4 athletes turning, they're going to head for home down the final 50, but here we get a great shot of the battle that is going on between the S3 athletes on the turn. You can see there Rodriguez gets the better push off the turn, but Nikita Enns of Canada picks up the speed as she goes through the swim length, and that's why they keep ending up quite close together at the wall. And you will see here, all three Brazilians are going to go past each other, with the two S4 athletes heading down the pool to the final wall. Rodriguez there trying to break away from Enns as she heads up to the final turn.
Yeah, two Brazilians are going to come home now. It is going to be lane 4. Take this one. Lydia Vera da Cruz led all the way, and that's a championship record for the Brazilian. Wow, didn't expect that this morning. A great swim from Lydia Vera da Cruz. And 3:11.38. It's faster than the time set by Ariola Trimmy back in 2015. Two Brazilians in the S4 class are in now, so we'll turn our attention to the tussle in this S3 classification now. Remember, this is a final effectively for the S3 class. There's still two S3 swimmers to come in the next heat. So the winner of this one will be guaranteed a medal here at the World Championships.
And as we go into that third and final turn, it was Canada's Nikita Enns that had managed to get ahead of Larissa Rodriguez. So now Enns turned there 3:39.63 with the advantage over Larissa Rodriguez, who turned in a 3:41.45. There you can see Enns of Canada in your shot, going very well here. She's building into this finish with that strong double arm backstroke. The angle is deceiving. Enns does have about a body length lead at the moment, but Larissa Rodriguez trying to get back on terms.
Yeah, it looks like Nikita Enns for Canada might well just claim a medal for the Canadian team here as she comes in to the final 5 meters. One more heat to come, remember, but Nikita Enns is going to come in now, and she will take that one in at 4:51.75. Larissa Rodriguez, the 17-year-old from Brazil, getting in for second place in that S3 classification. She will have to wait for the second heat to come to see whether she is going to be on the medal podium. There's Angela Procida, the S2 swimmer from Italy. She's had a good week. She's won 3 medals so far for the Italian team. Silver in the 50 backstroke and 2 bronzes as well. Angela Procida is always very expressive at the end of her races. This week she's swum a 5:14.62 for her, so a 5-second improvement for the Italian, so no wonder she's happy. And again, that will be a target for the next heat. We see Fabiola Ramirez Martinez go in the next heat in the S2 class. So Procida and Ramirez Martinez will compete for the S2 medals. And we'll keep an eye on the S3 swimmers in that next heat as well.
You can see a range of starts. It is a freestyle event, which is why we saw some people swimming the more traditional front crawl stroke. Then Rodriguez with more of that breaststroke kick to start with, and then swimming on her side a bit, and Nikita Enns and Angela Procida swimming on their backs. But it was the two S4 Brazilians out in front that you would expect. They were looking to post times that will qualify them for the final, so they'll have an eye on this next heat to find out what their lane draw might look like going into that final.
2 Brazilians at the front of the field, and a championship record for Lydia Vera da Cruz, ahead of her teammate Pereira dos Santos. Targets for the next heat: Nikita Enns in pole position at the moment, the Canadian in the S3 class, and Angela Procida in the S2 classification. Keep an eye on these times. One swimmer not taking the start, and that is the Spanish swimmer Marta Fernandez Infante. Looks like we do have the others though. Ali van Viksmart in lane 1, Emina Afchu in lane 2. 2 world record holders in this particular event. There is Tanja Schultz from Germany, world record holder in the S4 classification. And going in lane 3 next to her as the German makes her way across is Leanne Smith from the USA. She's a world record holder in the S3 classification. There's the world record time set by Tanya Schultz in Berlin World Para Series this year.
Well, she's been having a really good meet here as well. She's had a few championship records, so she'll have her eyes on that time that's just been updated from Lydia Vieira da Cruz in that first heat for Brazil. 3:11.38, that one.
Yeah, you saw Fabiola Ramirez Martin is the S2 swimmer going from the dive. She will be trying to target that time from the first heat. Angela Procida, the Italian.
She will, and then Van Wixmart up in lane 1 and Leanne Smith in lane 3 and Heidi Aceves Perez of Mexico in lane 7. They are swimming in the S3 category, so again this is a heat declared winner for them, so this is effectively their final swim, so they'll be looking at that time of Nikita N's 4:51.75 for the Canadian if they want to top that podium, or 4:58.08 of Larissa Rodriguez if they want to get in there for the medals. But Tanya Schultz of Germany just edging ahead now as we go down the second 50, but it was Leanne Smith of the United States of America who had the turn first. She got there first, just 5/100ths ahead of the German swimmer, one lane closer to us. We can see there that black cap of Germany that Tanya Schultz has been wearing with pride. She's been swimming very, very well at this first major championships of hers. Fairly new to para swimming, only acquired her injury in 2020, so still relatively newly disabled, and you can see she's already developing such good race skills as she gets around the wall there. 129.86. Leanne Smith 132.34. She is racing it out for the S3 tie, so remember the world record holder in that classification group, that white hat there of the swimmer from the United States of America. She's having an absolutely incredible World Championships here.
Yeah, 4 gold medals individually for Leanne Smith, and medal in the relay as well. She anchored that 20-point American relay. They were absolutely delighted with that performance that they did, the US team. We spoke about them a few days ago. Great combination for that US team. Tanya Schultz still going over on that final turn. 2:17 for Tanya Schultz and Leanne Smith. We'll just keep an eye on the clock for Leanne Smith. This is the 200 freestyle, as you said, is effectively the final for the American swimmer. I think she is going to be firm favourite to take another gold here. Tanya Schultz, the qualification for the German swimmer as she comes into the final stages of this one. She should progress very safely into the final, set that world record, as we said, in the World Para Series back in Berlin just at the end of March.
Well, Fabiola Ramirez Martinez, who's chasing that time of Angela Procida from that first heat, has turned in at the halfway point, just a few seconds behind the Italian. But coming in now is Leanne Smith to take the championship record of the S3 category. She's finished in a time of 3:16.95. So she tops the S3 rankings from this heat, from these 2 heats rather, and we've been blessed with 2 championship records there in that one.
Yeah, the 2 world record holders side by side there at the end, Leanne Smith and Tanya Schultz, both setting a championship record here in these heat swims this morning. Nelly Miranda Herrera, the last world champion in this S4 classification, she finishes in 3rd position. And here comes the Turkish swimmer Emin Avcu. So let's keep an eye on the other swimmers in the water now. So we go back down to the other end of the pool. Ali van Viksmar and Acheves Perez, and also Fabiola Ramirez Martinez. Again, it's going to be very, very tight for the medals here in lane number 7. Acheves Perez has just got the edge on that S3 classification. Acheves Perez, again, one of the experienced campaigners in the Mexican team. And she has gone over there in 3:48.54 at that final turn. She is ahead of Larissa Rodriguez, but just behind, in fact ahead just slightly of Nikita Enns. Here she comes in to the final stages now. We'll watch for the time of Acheves Perez, and she will touch in 5:04. So just behind the other two swimmers there, just behind Rodriguez and Nikita Enns. And there is Ramirez Martinez coming into the final stages now. 5:22, and that is behind Angela Procida from the Italian team, as Ali van Viksmar of Canada completes the distance for the Canadian in 5:36. So it looks like the first heat slightly faster in those S2 and S3 classifications, with the exception, of course, of Leanne Smith.
Yeah, we'll wait for those results to be confirmed. We should get the qualifiers from the S4 heats through to finals, but also confirmation of the final results for the S2 classification and the S3 classification. But Tanya Schultz there looking very, very strong, as did Leanne Smith at the front of that heat. 2 championship records in the respective classification groups, and another fantastic swim there from Leanne Smith to add, potentially, assuming we get those results in, to her haul this week.
It's a result of heat number 2. Records all over the place there. Tanya Schultz and Leanne Smith, championship records for their respective classifications, and an America's record as well for Fabiola Ramirez Martinez. And there is who will advance to the final of the S4 class. Tanya Schultz, championship record. It was a championship record for Lydia Vera de Cruz as well, which was just eclipsed by the German. Here's the result of the 200 freestyle, in the S2 classification, of 5:22.41 for the Italian, and she will take top spot ahead of Fabiola Ramirez Martinez. It was an America's record, I think, for the Mexican. And in the S3 classification, Leanne Smith clear ahead, championship record for her. She takes it ahead of Nikita Enns of Canada and Larissa Rodriguez. The 2 swimmers in that first heat will claim the silver and bronze medal positions. So hopefully we've managed to tidy that up. It's the first time we've had 2 presentations, like 2 combined races in a heat swim, isn't it?
Yeah, there was 3 different events going on there. I think we all got through it unscathed, the swimmers and the commentators. Just adds another layer of excitement in the morning as we move on to the men's 200 metres freestyle S4. This is straight, there's only S4 athletes in it.
We can breathe again. 9 swimmers, we only got to lose 1 swimmer. Some big names in this one as well. We saw yesterday in the 50 freestyle, Ami Omar Dadon, world record holder in this one, but he set the world record yesterday as well in the final, but the world record was set in the heat by Cameron Leslie of New Zealand. It's a great swim from the Israeli. The New Zealander really took it out in the heats, but it was the Israeli who prevailed in the final. Camacho Ramirez from Brazil A couple of bronze medals to his name already this week. There's Luigi Beggiato of Italy. European bronze medalist last year, the Italian. Also featured in the Italian relay team earlier this week. But there it is, Dardone. Had a great games in Tokyo last year. Took the gold in the 50, took the gold in the 200. He was really dominant.
Ranger starts there. You can see Ariel Malia of Israel, the other Israeli swimmer, here down in lane 8. He always gets off to a very good start. He had a very good 50-meter freestyle heat yesterday morning, and he started well again here. But expect his compatriot in that centre lane to try and command this one. We've only got to lose one swimmer, so they don't have to go all out this morning. Those athletes with the PB personal best times that mean that they've got a bit more of an advantage. They can maybe get out in front and then assess their position and take it a bit easier. But it is Dardone who leads at that first turn, 41.7 for him. Cam Leslie in second place, having a brilliant meet here, brilliant return to major championship competition for New Zealand. He turned second, 42.99. And the very experienced David Smetanine of France going well down that first 50 metres. He won this title back at the World Championships in 2010 in Eindhoven. He's gone out fast to get that third position at the first turn, but there's still a long way to go in this one. Dardone opening up a lead over the rest of the field. Cam Leslie prefers the sprint event, but going very well here in this heat this morning of the 200. At the halfway point, he and Angel Camacho Ramirez are close. David Smetanine still hanging on very well there, though, at the halfway point to get that turn. But now it is Camacho Ramirez is trying to break away from the Frenchman, but Ami Dardone in your shot at the moment, leading the way.
Yeah, he had a great swim, the Israeli, just to take that world record. Cameron Leslie, of course, set that world record in the heats, and the Israeli eclipsed him in the final. I mean, Leslie must have gone into that final with just supreme confidence, and he got away well at the start, but the Israeli was right with him. We thought that Dardone might have been playing catch-up in that 50, but that's not the way it panned out, and wow, must have really shocked Cameron Leslie on that 50 final.
Well, Cameron Leslie moved it on again in the final, and he broke the world record again. But yeah, Ami Dardone just broke it by more. And actually, Dardone, I think for Dardone, the key was the start. Like, we were expecting Leslie to be out in front, and then Dardone have to chase him down. But he did get us up. But Cameron Leslie has been such a servant for the New Zealand team. It's great to see him back in action. First World Championships back in 2006 for the man in your screen now. He's back, he's swimming personal best times, and he's enjoying being here, so that's amazing. But Dardone is at the front, and he will be coming in to take this one. The world record holder will stop the clock in 3 minutes, .40.
Yeah, he's done that one, swum that one very well. It is going to be Camacho Ramirez in second. Blanket finish for third there, look at that. Won by Beggiato. Just a tenth of a second ahead of Smetanine, who's just slightly ahead of Cameron Leslie. Great to see David Smetanine as well. We were speaking to him the other day, the French swimmer, his 7th World Championship. He's been a great servant to the French team, of course. Talking already about the Paris Paralympics.
Well, we were talking about the Japanese and how the Tokyo Paralympic Games created a resurgence, some real talent, and it's come through, and it's here. And David Smetanine, again, he's been such a leader for that French team, does so much for para swimming and para sport generally, and it's great to see him still swimming, still enjoying his swimming, and having that motivation of a home Paralympic Games to look forward to. And of course, because Tokyo was delayed, it's only 3 years between cycles this time around, and we're already pretty much one year through that cycle. So 2 years to go for Smetanine to compete in Paris at a home Paralympic Games.
Yeah, he's 47 years of age at the moment, David Smetanine. Can he hold on to this Paris Games? He would dearly love to. He's got the youngsters though, just forging ahead of him here, but he's just managed to get there in 4th position. He's got a chance in that final tonight. It's not going to be much in it at all. Dardon looked good. Camacho Ramirez finished very well. Cameron Leslie will go faster as well. Beggiato will be in there. But Smetanine right in the mix there for the medals. And looking at the qualifiers, looks like Andreas Ernhofer is going to be the man to miss out. Smetanine will be joined in the final by a fellow experienced campaigner, Javi Torres. He's competed in those inaugural World Championships back in 1994. Great to see him. It's not his favourite event, Javi Torres, but he's had a great week already. Lyndon Longhorn from Great Britain completes the lineup. There's the French supporters. They've been here all week.
They have. They're still waiting for that elusive gold medal, but they've been treated to some very, very impressive medal-winning performances, and they still have chances. They still have chances, and one of their favoured events might be just this one coming up now.
It might well be. We've seen two of the Portal brothers for France competing this week. Alex Portal is top of the world rankings this year for this event, the men's 200 metres individual medley SM13. And there's the lineup for that first heat. The younger of the two Portal brothers, 15-year-old Killian Portal, goes in lane number 2. There's Talso Engel. There is Thomas van Rooij from the Netherlands. Genki Saito from Japan go in lane number 2. Saito again has taken a couple of medals at these championships in the relay and also in the 400 freestyle. And Van Rooij, bronze medalist at the Paralympic Games, will be the favourite here in lane number 4. He's been swimming well this week, and this is, of course, the SM13 classification. Swimmers with visual impairment, they have partial vision. Van Rooij leads them out. Next to Van Rooij, Talso Engel. We see the marks on the back of Talso Engel there. We talked about that earlier in the week, Liz.
Yeah, we've talked about that cupping treatment that a lot of the swimmers use, and it does leave the marks on your back, and that out of on the back are from the cupping physio technique that a lot of these athletes are now using. And going very well here at the halfway point. It is Thomas van Rooij of the Netherlands. He's had a strong week and his breaststroke is very strong as well as he goes out, but expect Talso Engel of Germany to start coming back, clawing his way back, the world champion in the breaststroke, the Paralympic champion in the breaststroke. But Van Rooij is having a brilliant swim.
Yeah, Van Rooij was the bronze medalist this week in the breaststroke. The gold and silver medalists are just the 2 lanes down from him. Zumgali going well from Kazakhstan, getting ahead of Talso Engel here, but the Dutchman first to the wall in 1:39.88. That lead he has over Zumgali is just under 5 seconds.
Yeah, now you can see Thomas van Rooij. He's led from start to finish. It is a heat, so it is controlled, and we can see now Talso Engel just overhauling Zumgali of Kazakhstan on this freestyle leg. The position is important. Always in the heat, you don't want to be in the close ones, you don't want to be on the wrong end of it, but 2:13.70 there for Van Roy. Comfortable swim for him as he comes in. Engel does take that second place touch, and it's Zungali that holds on for third, as Sato of Japan finishes well.
Good swim again from Thomas van Roy. At 2:13.70. Delighted to take that bronze medal at Paralympic Games. It was his only medal in Tokyo. He gets in first position. Talso Engel in second place there. Didn't quite make the move on the breaststroke. Zungali came past Talso Engel on the breaststroke, but Talso Engel, very strong freestyler as well. I've seen him in the sprint freestyle, just missing out in the medals.
Yeah, he did have a great 50 freestyle. And in yesterday's events, we saw Gillian Portal in that 400 meters finish like an absolute train into the wall. He didn't do that quite this morning. He was at the top for France, finishing in that 5th position. But Thomas van Roy has sent a bit of a message to Alex Portal, who will go in the next heat. But it is a heat swim, and so there's still so much more to be done before those medals are handed out.
Still unofficial, this result, and that doesn't bode well for someone. We'll see if we can bring you that result before the next heat gets underway. It's unusual that we've taken so long to take this. There must be some sort of issue. Oh, I think we have it, yeah. Just appearing on our screens, there has been a disqualification there. Don't think it affects the top 3 spots though. Van Roy takes it ahead of Engel, Zumagali, and it's a Japanese swimmer. Genki Saito is disqualified, promoting Kilian Portal to 4th position. And his brother coming in now, Alex Portal, in lane number 4 in the centre between the 2 Ukrainian swimmers. 2 Ukrainian swimmers have really swam well this week, Verchenko and Garashenko. Verchenko taking 2 gold medals in the butterfly, so expect him to get off quite quickly, the Ukrainian, and also in the 50 freestyle, and Garashenko winning the 100 and the 400 freestyle, so expect him to be strong in the closing stages of this IM.
Yeah, Garashenko, his second parts of his race have been incredible this week. Obviously with this 200 meters individual, it is slightly different. Some of the athletes treat it more as a 4x50 sprint, 1 on each stroke, and after the butterfly it's Alex Portal turning first, 27.89. It's Verchenko, the first of the 2 Ukrainians, 28.19, and then Musabekov splitting the Ukrainians, turning third there after the butterfly, but still so much to go on the backstroke, and Verchenko having a great backstroke leg here as they'll come to the halfway point and flip on to the breaststroke.
Yeah, Portal, I know, is a strong breaststroker, but if Garashenko is anywhere in contention when they get to the freestyle, watch out for him. That blue cap, the white cap, sorry, of the Ukrainian in 3rd place. Verchenko leads it. Portal now trying to make a move through the middle of the 2 Ukrainians. Garashenko still very much there. Musabekov with that black cap now coming back into contention. This is a good second heat, this one.
Yeah, this second heat is strong, and those 4 athletes at the front of the pack moving away from those swimmers in the outside lanes. Verchenko once again having a very impressive swim here this morning, and Portal's stroking it out, but he's got company, and as they move on to the freestyle now, Garashenko will look to try and come back into the fold again, just to make sure he's on the right end of that touch.
Yeah, I think these top 4 will be comfortably into the final, as Verchenko just stretched away from Alex Portal here in the closing stages. Garashenko just trying to get up alongside Alex Portal. He's going to finish in 3rd. Verchenko will take it ahead of Portal, ahead of Garashenko, and Musabekov in 4th place. made a big move. Muzabekov in the breaststroke, but Verchenko takes that one in 2:16.71. I think they should be safely into the final with that one. Only Thomas van Rooij was faster, 2:13.70 in that first heat. Very tight in terms of qualification, but I think they've all made it those top 4 in that second heat.
There it is. Remember, 2:13.70 in first place.
Well, all kind of changed about a little bit as we went through that second heat. Alex Portal there or thereabouts. He led on the butterfly, just ahead of Verchenko and Muzabekov. Went through the backstroke. Muzabekov came back into contention on the breaststroke. As they went down to the freestyle though, it was the strength of Verchenko taking him into the lead ahead of Alex Portal. Garashenko following closely, and Muzabekov in 4th position. So it should be good enough for those 4 to qualify for the final. Result is official now. Verchenko takes it, Portal, Garashenko, they are the top 3. German swimmer Philipp Hebmüller in 5th position. I think that might even be enough to qualify him for the final as well. 2 Germans will progress to the final along with the 2 Ukrainians, but it is the Netherlands swimmer Thomas van Rooij who takes that one, 2:13.70. He makes it into that final.
He just sneaked in there with the fastest time in the world this year, 8/100ths ahead of Alex Portal's swim from earlier in the year, so that's going to be a pretty tight battle this evening.
Yeah, pretty close all round there in terms of qualification. So difficult to predict where the medals are going to go with that one. It's going to be a real favourite for this one though in the women's 100 freestyle S5. 10 swimmers in this one. They have to lose 2 swimmers to progress to the top 8 for the final. And the swimmer who's been on record-breaking form this week is Great Britain's Tully Kearney. Just broke that long-standing world record in the 200 freestyle yesterday. She is the world record holder in this one, set the mark in Tokyo last year. And the championship record is actually held by Tully from that swim yesterday, the halfway point. In the 200 freestyle, she set a championship record for the 100.
There's no doubt that she's got the speed here. She's got the speed, she's got the endurance. Can they? Neves of Brazil, she's more of a sprint specialist. She picked up a medal in that 50 freestyle and she'll be looking for another one here. She doesn't wear goggles, that's pretty much her trademark, but she always looks powerful and focused when she stands on that block.
Yeah, she certainly does. There is the starting device used by Tully Kearney. It's the S5 classification. Boggioni held in position by her coach, the blue cap of Italy. A range of starts there, Liz. Some from the water, some from the dive.
Yeah, and you can see already Tully Kearney up and into her stroke. She doesn't get much off the wall. She comes straight up and into her stroke, and then she's away with that high stroke turnover that she uses. Going very well behind her, pretty evenly down that first 25 meters is Paralympic Games bronze medalist Monica Boggioni and Da Silva Neves of Brazil, either side of Tully Kearney. But already the swimmer from Great Britain has got a sizable advantage as she hits the turn.
You've got to think she is going to be the favourite for this one. As I said, setting a championship record in the split of the 200 freestyle yesterday, so she's in absolutely cracking form, the Great Britain swimmer. A world record was set last year when she took that Paralympic title. She's the reigning world champion as well from 2019, so looking to add another title here in this 100 freestyle. Joana Maria da Silva from Brazil is going well in lane number 3, maybe just in second position ahead of Monica Borgioni, but these three should qualify comfortably for the final. They were the medalists in the 50 freestyle in exactly the order that they are finishing. Tully Kearney in 122.71. That is very relaxed indeed from the Great Britain swimmer. Joanna Maria da Silva in second place and Monica Borgioni in third place. Maori Yui from Japan continuing her good run of form there. She finishes in fourth, but pretty comfortable for the swimmers at the front of the field there, Liz.
Yeah, when you come in those centre lanes of the heats and there's only one heat, you have got that advantage of knowing that you don't have to push it too hard to progress through to the final. So comfortable swims there. We can see there in your shot now, Morales Lopez of Mexico just coming in to finish for her 100 meters. She went a time there of 2:12.02 to beat her entry time of 2:13.85. So some great swimming all round.
Yeah, Tully Kearney, you would not bet against her challenging that world record again tonight. She has taken that record in the 50. She's taken the record in the 200. Can she take the record in the 100? Complete the freestyle treble of titles and world records. Tully Kearney, very much the one to beat, the Great Britain swimmer. She's exiting the water. Great Britain having a good championships, Liz.
Yeah, they've really broadened their squad. We've seen a good mix of some new youngsters, some rookies, and some of the more experienced athletes. Tully Kearney being one of those.
Tully Kearney takes that top spot in that one and only heat of the 100 freestyle S5. There, as we will advance to the final. Tully Kearney will be in pole position as they go to that final, ahead of Joanna Maria da Silva and Monica Borgioni. Trying to claim more medals. Borgioni has had a very good championships as well. Just looking at the record of Borgioni, she featured in the Italian relay team. So they won a couple of medals in the relays, including Borgioni in both teams. She's got medals in both freestyle events so far. She's got a medal in the backstroke and in the breaststroke, and also in the individual medley. So real all-rounder, Monica Borgioni, and contributing to that huge total of medals that the Italian team have got so far at these championships. So 1 day to go.
Well, the Italians just seem to be going from strength. Servants delivering. They've got it all.
They have. We'll see another one of their champions in the second heat for this one. But there's the man who's performed well over the last couple of days, Anthony Ponce Bertrand. Next to him is Coral Berkin Kutlu, 16-year-old from Turkey who took a medal yesterday in the 200. Sebastian Rodriguez in another World Championships. We spoke about him yesterday. He's a very experienced campaigner, just has been around now. One of the batch of the Spanish team. We spoke briefly about them earlier, but one of this batch of the Spanish team who've been around since, well, the early 2000s.
Yeah, and he really was the man to beat around that time. And him and Ponce Bertrand regularly swim in events together. The Spaniards often field 3 athletes in these S5 events, and Ponce Bertrand nowadays more the one likely to win the medals, but Sebastian Rodriguez still competitive. He always gets a phenomenal start off the block, and you can see there he held that there really just as Ponce Bertrand now comes level with him. And Kutlu has been having a brilliant meet for Turkey, the 16-year-old in lane 5.
Yeah, took that medal yesterday Kutlu in the 200. Pons Bertrand, though, going very well in the early stages of this one. There is Kutlu. We have very different impairments in this S5 classification.
Yeah, and it all balances out. The way the classification system is designed is that it takes into consideration all parts of what is required for swimming across all strokes and across all distances. And obviously the S classification group refers to freestyle, backstroke and butterfly because they have similar movement patterns. Breaststroke is leg dominant, and then which Anthony Pons Bertrand, whilst he dominated that heat there, is also very dominant in breaststroke, and then the medley is the combination of those. But Pons Bertrand looking very strong there this morning in that heat.
Yeah, very good indeed for Pons Bertrand, stretching away at the front of the field. Kutlu in second. Ang Chayafom from Thailand just getting up ahead of Sebastian Rodriguez. That might be vital when they come to have the places in the final. There's Ang Chayafom, the Thai swimmer. We've seen him feature in a few races this week. He's had a busy programme. The Thai swimmer is a Paralympic Games finalist last year. There's Rodriguez. He's the oldest man at this competition, Liz. Still going strong though.
Yeah, he is, and people look to him. He's a bit of a leader within the Spanish team, but also within this S5 classification group. Over the years, you've always seen him sort of welcoming the newcomers, the youngsters, into the call room, and he always congratulates them after the race, and they look up to him, and he brings that spirit. And Pons Bertrand benefits again from having the Spanish camaraderie in that call room. Pons Bertrand has become someone who has quite a heavy program. Rodriguez sticks to the freestyle events and really always has been a relay servant, but Pons Bertrand, who we saw take out that one, we can see him there at the turn. He has got quite a busy program. He's good at a lot of events, and he's become a very, very good heat swimmer. Like he's always swims controlled in the heats. He gets the energy level just right to get himself into those finals and challenge for the medals.
Well, I wonder if we're going to have two Spaniards in the final again. Sebastian Rodriguez will have to wait for the result of this second heat to come. Pons Bertrand should be safely through with 7 swimmers to come in this second heat. Now we see in that middle lane Francesco Bocciardo of Italy. Again, another swimmer who's looking to do the freestyle treble. He's the championship record holder. Set that in London in 2019. Paralympic champion as well from last year. Bocciardo will be the favourite for this one. But a good start there up in lane number 2 from Hinata, who's very good at the start of the week, the young Japanese swimmer. We haven't seen him in the past few days. Yeah,
we talked about the Japanese men being particularly proud of how they've swum here, and Hinata contributing to that medal count for them. But there we see that blue hat of Francesco Bocciardo of Italy now stroking to the front at the halfway point. He hits the turn in 36.46. Zulkafi in second, and Huerta Poza, who's been having a good week for Spain as well, in that third position. But Francesco Bocciardo really in recent years has made these freestyle events his own in the S5 classification group. He is the man to beat.
And he's kind of taken over the mantle from the great Daniel Dias, Brazil's most successful Paralympian who has retired. Daniel Dias dominated this event, winning 5 world titles in a row up to 2017. Then Bocciardo beat the great man, the great Brazilian, at the World Championships in 2019 to take on the mantle. He'll be hoping to retain his title. 1:13.45 for the Italian. Clear in first position. It's Zulkifli from Malaysia in second. Huerta Poza in for the third position. And Lergios from Greece in fourth, just ahead of Hinata, who had that good start. Yeah. But there's Bocciardo coming through. strongly there as the race progressed, just eclipsing Hinata. We had that fast start.
Well, Huerta Poza, he's been swimming very, very well as well for Spain, getting off to good starts and holding those positions into the final stages of the race. But Bocciardo, he's a class of his own in this freestyle, really. He swims well, he's got the sprint speed, bit like we saw with Tully Kearney. He's got the sprint speed, he's got the endurance for that 200, and then it all comes together in this 100 metres. And he's just, it's his arms, he just managed to get them over at such a high rate that there's no pause in his stroke, and he is able to then just power away.
And he's gone on to dominate this class. Bocciardo, well, this event, freestyle events in this class, and he's looking like he's going to be tough to beat. So Kafli, good finish from him in line second position, in line number 5. With Huerta Poza in third place ahead of Lergios. Hinata in 5th position. And I think he might have just knocked Sebastian Rodriguez out of the final there. The young 16-year-old knocking the experienced Spaniard into 9th position. But Bocciardo will progress ahead of Pons Bertrand. And Bocciardo, we've seen him dominate in recent years, Liz, but he's been on the Italian team for quite a number of years. The 2011 European Championships where he made his first appearance, so he's not a newcomer to this Italian team. He's come through the ranks.
Yeah, we talk about, though, that, don't we, some countries bringing in their youth and letting them almost establish themselves in the comfort of this environment, become comfortable with this environment, so that when they're ready to step it up, they're just focused on the swimming. They're not really, really worried and overwhelmed by all the big lights and nations that they might never have got to compete against or in before. So yeah, we're definitely seeing that. But Leanne Smith, busy morning for her. She's about to go again in this one.
It is the 200 freestyle. Was swam just a short time ago, but Leanne Smith now in for the 100 freestyle S3. Of course, the 200 freestyle was a combined event, so they had to swim up against the S4s, but the S3's in an event on their own this morning. 3 Mexicans in this one and only heat. We have to lose 2 swimmers to progress to the final. Leanne Smith already added another gold medal to her tally this morning. There's Patricia Valley, made her first World Championship appearance back in 1998. And there is Ellie Chalice, who made her first World Championship appearance in London in 2019. She's had a good week as well, winning the 50 metres breaststroke. Ellie Chalice, but she's come up against Leanne Smith in her other events. And the American has absolutely dominated this week.
Yeah, the American has come into this World Championships in emphatic form. She's performed day after day, and we can see already she is up and away. Ellie Chalice there, the white cap closest to us in that second yellow lane, going very well with that high stroke rate. But here you can just see Leanne Smith pulling away from the rest of the field, and it is Smith and Chalice that are clear of the chasing pack. Smith now just coming in to the turn. She'll turn in a time of 45.07. She is the world record holder in this one. That world record, just as a reminder, 129.83. Chalice goes through second at the turn in 51.86. And it is the experienced Patricia Valle of Mexico, third at the moment, 101.17 for her.
Well, Leanne Smith is maybe on a quest to become the most successful athlete at these championships. She's going to have a little bit of a tussle, possibly with Maria Carolina Gomez Santiago of Brazil, but Leanne Smith with a great record. She has won 5 individual gold medals already at these championships, and a gold medal in the relay for the US team. She's coming in comfortably there to win that one in 137.40. she will qualify for the final. That quest for a 7th gold medal, that'd be incredible, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and she looks like she might be on the way. Ellie Chalice there, 150.04 for the British athlete. Take that 2nd position. A familiar picture there of the 2 athletes hanging on the end of the lane rope. Smiles, chats, and it will be Vale that just hold on for that 3rd position. Pereira Barreto of Brazil taking 4th there.
Yeah, Pereira Barreto was the bronze medalist in the backstroke earlier this week. Valley was the bronze medalist in the 50 freestyle. To ends coming in lane number 6, been a busy morning for her. And Acheves Perez as well, a Mexican in her 2nd event of the morning. Guerenco finishes, I think, in 9th position. And Ali van Viksmart still in the water. And she will finish now, the Canadian, in 10th position. Again, another swimmer. Heavy programme with this. That 200 freestyle swimming up against the S4s. It's not fallen very well for the S3s, has it?
No, it's made a bit of a difficult double there for a lot of them. A number of athletes returning there pretty quickly. And the 200 was first as well, the longer distance first. But
couldn't have been any worse for these S3s. And they're on the more severely impaired classification as well. This one was just a heat, but the 200 was a final this morning, effectively.
Yeah, so they had to go all out in that for the medal positions, but here they did have the ability to, if they were win those more middle lanes, they could take it a bit easier, and they'll look to progress through to the final. So, and obviously because the 200 was a straight final, they don't have that to contend with this evening. So if they do make it through to this final this evening, then they can put all their energy and eggs into that basket.
So Leanne Smith will be looking to add another gold medal. Can she be the most successful female athlete at these championships? Well, she's on the way to doing that. Ellie Chalice in 2nd position from Great Britain. Patricia Valle, and maybe another medal for the experienced Mexican swimmer. 2 Brazilians in 4th and 5th. Nikita Ents in the final again, and the 2 Mexicans complete the lineup in 7th and 8th position. Well, the men's 100 freestyle in the S3. 2 heats of this one. Again, some familiar names taking the start in this one. Again, some swimmers swimming up classification, so no event for the 100 freestyle for the S1 and S2 classification, so they're swimming up, no separate set of medals this time. All have to compete against the S3, so everybody competing for a place in the top 8 this time. And there's the lineup. Da Silva, Jose Ronaldo da Silva from Brazil, Bruno Becker da Silva from Brazil. We've seen a lot of siblings at these championships, Liz, but these 2 aren't one of them.
Nope, they've just got the same surname. We do see that as well, though, don't we? In the Australian team, they're 2 Pattersons, aren't related, but yeah, there is a strong family theme for a number of the athletes at this World Championships.
Vincenzo Boni, the blue cap of Italy. Josiah Topf of Germany, we've enjoyed watching him this week. Grant Patterson is in this one as well, in lane number 7. We spoke about him. Polish swimmer Krzysztof Lechniak. We were getting some instruction on our Polish pronunciations yesterday from one of the coaches that we've been talking to this week. Not sure if we quite nailed it yet, Liz.
No, we'll go away and practice. We welcome people's direction.
We do. It's always good to get the names as correct as possible. Not sure we always are quite 100% accurate, but bear with us. And if you do think of we can make any improvements, please let us know.
Yeah, well, top going very well here for Germany in those early stages. We saw him do very well in the sprint events. He gets off that block well, but then he uses that one leg to propel him through the water. So quite often the focus then goes to the centre lanes as they try and chase him down. And on the 50 metres, he's become very strong at this championship, particularly at managing to maintain that advantage. On the 200 metres, we did see him get caught, and coming through is that double arm stroke of Vincenzo Boni at the turn. He just gets his hands to the wall first. 50.95 for him. Toff going strong in 51.55, and Patterson of Australia out in lane 7, turning third in 55.69. So now you can see Boni going well with that double arm stroke. On the back stroke, he does over the long distance sometimes switch to the single arm stroke for the final length, but as this is only 100 metres, only 2 lengths, he's sticking with that powerful double arm stroke there, and you can see the difference. And then we move over to lane 7. There is Grant Scooter Patterson. He's had a very successful week already, picking up some medals. He's a character on the team, he's a character around the poolside, and he's enjoying a very successful meet here. But it will be Vincenzo Boni that takes this one out. 145.67 for him, with Toff holding on for that second position, 151.41, and a strong performance there from Patterson in lane 7 to take the third position for Australia, 156.78.
Patterson in third place. That's the first of the 2 heats there. Boni taking that one. And we did, as you said, Liz, we've seen Boni over the years do that kind of alternating arm stroke. He switched to the double arm. You see him use that single arm in the later stages of those longer distance events. There's Josiah Topp, but reclining on the lane rope there, trying to get his breath back. There's Grant Patterson. And Lechniak from Poland as well in lane number 6. Finished in 5th position. We've got one swimmer to complete the distance. That's the S1 swimmer from Brazil, Jose Ronaldo da Silva. We saw him swim in the backstroke event, 100 back and the 50 back in the S1 class. The S1 swimmers had their own events, and da Silva taking medals in both those, silver in the 50 back and bronze in the 100 back. No doubt about the winner of that one, Vincenzo Boni. Again, we saw Vincenzo, we didn't see much of him in the early part of the week, but in these last couple of days, the programme's all kind of fallen at the end of the week for him.
Yeah, we've talked about that for a number of athletes, and in some respects it can be easier because you can then keep your head in the training zone vibe, and you just adjust your program so that your resting comes later on, and you've only got a small program to focus on. It's intense in terms of the recovery challenges and getting back up and managing your energy levels, but it does make it a bit easier sometimes in terms of dealing with a shorter program, because this environment, you can get sucked in. You can start shouting for and cheering, and there've been some really close races and a lot of Italians have been involved in them, and you can almost get sucked into the competition environment as a supporter before your events come along. So sometimes it's not a bad thing if your program is condensed.
Yeah, a lot of distractions at the major championships, that's for sure. There's Bruno Becker da Silva just touching there in lane number 3. There's his namesake, Jose Ronaldo da Silva. So Vincenzo Boni takes that one. Josiah Topp, good swim for the German, 151.41 for him. Grant Patterson in 156.78. And the swimmers for the second heat coming out. Look at this. There's a number of empty lanes here. Diego Lopez Diaz not taking the start in this one. Also missing Francesco Bettella. So only down to 3 swimmers here. So Lopez Diaz, we saw him swim a few days ago. We've seen him missing a few events this week. He's won 2 gold medals already in the 50 backstroke and the 50 freestyle. But that's the only 2 we've seen him in, I think, Liz.
Yeah, he withdrew last night, and then Jesus Hernandez stepped up for Mexico in his absence to take the victory. And he'll be looking to do that again here.
Yeah, so of the 3 swimmers remaining, we have Larenas Albaye from Chile up there in lane number 2. We have Zarata Rodriguez of Mexico in lane number 3, and we have Hernandez back in the pool again in lane number 5. So just looking at this summary for the first heat. So 6 swimmers there take the start. So we've got 3 swimmers in this one, so we only got to lose 1 swimmer.
Well, we do, don't we? And so it's going to be tight. And you're going to feel a bit hard done by if you end up missing out on that final, aren't you? But it is actually Zarate Rodriguez that we see get off to those good starts and those good turns, don't we? With the single arm freestyle up there in lane 3. But Hernandez is so strong in the closing stages with that backstroke. But he's an experienced campaigner, and as you said, Paul, he's had a busy week here in Funchal, so he might be okay with swimming this heat and just letting it be stroked out by his compatriot. Though as I say that, he's starting to claw back some ground.
Trying to get the bragging rights for the Mexican team. Hernandez is that familiar backstroke technique that we see from the Mexican, and he's stretching in the final stages of this one. As you said, Liz, he won the 200 yesterday, and he's in a good spot in this 100, 150.52 for him, followed in by his teammate, who started really well there, 155.00 for Zarate Rodriguez, and Larenas Albaya from Chile. He comes in his first major championship for the Chilean swimmer, and that should be good enough for him to qualify, you would imagine, safely into the final for these 3 swimmers. And Chile is another country, they don't really have a huge representation here at the World Championships, but this Chilean swimmer, Larenas Albaya, very, very similar impairment to Alberto Arbarza.
Yeah, very similar indeed. And again, that happens, doesn't it? You just start to, you almost identify people, or you see someone that looks a bit like you. We've talked about this all week, and like having a role model, having someone that you can relate to, it plants the seed in your head that maybe actually that's something that you could do too. And then if you've got the knowledge within your country, or even sometimes we find it a localized area within a country, we see a lot of swimmers coming from the same club sometimes, or the same region, then it really does help the sport grow. And we're seeing that, and we're seeing that with the Mexicans. We've talked about how strong they are in this S3 classification group, specifically across both men and women. And with Lopez Diaz missing, Jesus Hernandez is stepping up.
And it's Mexico 1 and 2 in that heat. Larenas Albaya from Chile in 3rd place. They should all make that final. There is the top 8. Vincenzo Boni is the man who leads the way. Hernandez in 2nd. Top will have a chance of another medal. He qualifies in 3rd position. Final swimmer to qualify was the Polish swimmer Lechniak. Women's 50 butterfly, back to the sprint events, Liz. This is the S6 classification. The one that you know well. You swim a little bit of 50 butterfly now and again.
Sometimes, but again, like we were talking about how sometimes certain swimmers with certain strokes will have to wait for their event, so they might choose a different one to swim to plug the time. That was me waiting for under a breaststroke. I might swim a 50 fly, might swim a 53, but
just to get a feel of the water.
Yeah, but not for Nicole Turner. For Nicole Turner of Ireland, this is her main event, and she's done it the other way around. She swum a few events to get ready for while she's waited for this one, but this is the one that she has been waiting for, and she goes in that centre lane.
Yeah, Nicole Turner, the Paralympic Games silver medalist. She won medals at the major championships. In previous years, she went to the Paralympic Games in Rio in 2016. And last year in Tokyo claimed her first Paralympic medal. Great result there for Nicole Turner. Ellie Marks will be next to her. The USA swimmer was a bronze medalist in the Paralympic Games last year.
Yeah, the two athletes in the centre lane, the two Paralympic medalists from Tokyo, coming up pretty much together, but you can see the power of Nicole Turner trying to forge ahead here in these early stages. But again, one heat, only need to lose one swimmer, so these athletes in the centre lanes can stroke it out, go a bit more comfortably, save a bit for the final. You can see Turner edging ahead as Marks takes the tap to signify that she's coming to the wall, and it is Turner that takes it in 37.52 from Elizabeth Marks in 37.73, and Sara Vargas Blanco, who had a superb victory in the 100 metres freestyle at the beginning of the week. It seems so long ago, in third position there, 38.38 for her.
Yeah, Anna Hunter as well in fourth place. They were the main contenders for that one. Anna Hunter, world record breaker in the 50 freestyle. We know she's got the sprint speed, but this very much a speciality for Nicole Turner. The Paralympic silver medalist takes that one and only heat.
Well, they were very pretty evenly, different starting styles, but all away pretty evenly, and then it was Turner and Marks who moved away in the centre, but there is danger. Vargas Blanco, like I said, she started that week very well indeed, and Anna Hunter, we know she's got speed, so we'll be looking forward to a battle this evening, but Nicole Turner will go in as the pre-race favourite.
She will, and she's qualified in top spot, 37.52 ahead of Marks, Vargas Blanco and Anna Hunter, the first four under the 40-second mark. We do have a disqualification. That was Bravo Gonzalez from Mexico. So there is your top 8, your qualifiers for the final.
Well, that's shaping up to be a good showdown there between Turner and Marks.
Yeah, Hunter as well was very good in the sprint, certainly on the freestyle. She may well contest for the medals, as will Vargas Blanco. But here come the men. Nelson Crispin back in again. What a successful championships he has had this week. The Colombian there on the right of the picture as you looked at it there, winning a gold medal last night. And Crispin, winner of the IM, winner of the breaststroke. Can he add the butterfly to his title? Taliesin Glock and Lauren Chardard on either side of the Colombian. But there's Nelson Crispin, he will be the favourite. Taliesin Glock and Lauren Chardard, very, very similar impairments. There's their leg and arm amputees on the same side of their body. There's Lauren Chardard. Swam very impressively in the 100 freestyle. He dead heated with Nelson Crispin for silver medal earlier in the week.
Yeah, and expect this to be another close one. It is Crispin who has the fastest time in the world this year, but Chardard not that far behind and going very well, but once again we see a Spaniard, David Sanchez Sierra, taking it out, having a very good start there off the block, and the power of Nelson Crispin for Colombia starting to come through. You can see Shardad and Glock pretty much stroke for stroke going with him, but it will be Crispin that takes this one out. 31.57 for him. Lauren Shardad second in 32.06, and it was just Addison Glock that got the touch for third position, 32.52 compared to Sanchez Sierra's 32.62. So another close finish there for the top 4 athletes.
Yeah, very good time for Nelson Crispin, just 0.1 of a second outside his best time of the year. He's having a great championships, the Colombian. Excellent swim there again. Lauren Chardard, 32.06, trying to add another medal. Can he be the one that hits the top spot for the French team? Oh, I think we are looking at some disqualifications there in the centre of the pool. I think Chardard and Crispin look like they're okay, and Sanchez Sierra, but Taliesin Glock has a DQ against his name, Liz.
Wow, more drama in these butterfly events. We've been having it all week, haven't we? And those results. Well, I'm glad I'm not an official. I'm glad I'm not swimming butterfly either. But yeah, you can see Sanchez Sierra. He got off to a very, very strong start, the Spanish athlete.
Crispin safely into that final, as is Lauren Chardard and David Sanchez Sierra. But 2 disqualifications, Taliesin Glock and Alejandro Rojas Cabrera. Well, there are your finalists. Matias de Andrade claiming that final spot for Argentina. Nelson Crispin, though, looked very good there at the front of the field. Lauren Chardard, the Frenchman, may well just pose a threat here in the final as they go on to the 50 freestyle for the S9 classification. This is one that the host nation have been looking forward to. It's in the centre line, Susana Veiga from Portugal, the home favourite. Emily Beecroft not taking the start in lane number 5. She's been on great form this week, the Australian, winning a couple of medals, both of them from the outside lane, and also featuring that relay team as well. So Emily Beecroft not here for the Australians. The home favourite is, though, Susana Veiga. Won European title last year right here in Madeira. Great celebrations. She was a silver medalist at the World Championships back in 2019 as well.
Well, she's been showing some really strong speed in the events earlier in the week. She swam the 100 metres, she swam the 400 metres, but this is the one she's been waiting for. This is the one she wants, and you can see her now starting to come through in that centre lane, overcoming that very fast start of Daniela Jimenez of Argentina, also going well, and that white cap closest to us, but it will be Veiga that takes this one out, 29.58 for her.
Dani Jimenez in second position. It's another swimmer from Chile in third place, Godoy Soto. Good swim from the 20-year-old Chilean, but a good swim from the home favourite, 29.58 for Susana Veiga. It's just less than a second slower than her entry time. Portuguese swimmer is safely into the final with that. Dani Jimenez also will progress, I would think, with that 30.15, but one very fast heat to come. And third place was Chiara Godoy Soto, Chilean swimmer. First time we've seen her at major championships, and that's a good swim from the Chilean there, up there in lane number 2.
Yes, and again, some good swims from outside lanes in the 50 metres freestyle. Anything can happen really, but the Portuguese home favourite looking very strong there, as you would expect in lane 4. She'll be watching the second heat to see what times come out of it.
She will indeed. Susana Veiga takes that heat for the host nation, Portugal. 29.58, the target for the second heat. Jimenez in second, Godoy Soto in third spot, just ahead of Aspden, who just gets 4 100s ahead of the Japanese swimmer Kanon Fukuda. Here's the second heat though. Brazilian Mariana Ribeiro has been in great form. She took the 100 freestyle. She'll be looking to add the 50 to that one.
Yeah, the tall Brazilian in that centre lane got away well there, and she's up and leading already as we get to the 25-metre mark there, that red lane line, but also going well is Spain's Sarai Gascon, 1 lane closer to us, and Florian Butcher of the Netherlands.
It is going to be Mariana Ribeiro into the wall first, 28.71. An excellent swim there from the world leader this year. Sarai Gascon under the 30-second mark, and Florian Bulcher 30.45 in third position, just ahead of Katarina Roxon. But good swim from the Brazilian there. We expected her to be out fast. 28.71 is the fastest of the 2 heats, significantly faster than Susana Veiga from that first heat, but all safely into that final. I'm sure there'll be some fast swims tonight there as those two come head to head.
Yeah, she's a tall swimmer, Mariana Ribeiro, and you can see that advantage of the height off the block. But Sarai Gascon of Spain, she can go quicker. She's had a busy program. We keep saying this for a number of athletes this week. So in the heat, this was the quicker heat, so you could afford to take a bit more time. Not much on a 50, but there will be something left in the tank for some of these swimmers.
Yeah, Sarai Gascon in second place, the former world record holder in this event. Mariana Ribeiro takes it though, 28.71. Floriana Bulcher should make it through to the final with that one. And there are the finalists. Ribeiro leads the way. Susana Veiga in a good position to win another medal for Portugal. Sarai Gascon in another world final for her. And Hannah Aston just makes it in. That touch that she got ahead of Kanon Fukuda in that first heat was vital. She takes that 8th spot by 4 100ths of a second. Well, host nation hopes are on Susana Veiga there. It was a good swim in the heats.
Yeah, she looked strong, she looked comfortable. Her job was to get that touch on that first heat. When you're in the first heat, you can't quite afford to play around as much, especially on a 50 metres, because it is the 8 fastest swimmers that progress. So she knew that if she got that top spot, even if all 7 in the next heat went quicker than her, she would still be in. And it was a very smart swim there this morning.
100 butterfly for women in the S14 classification are next. On to poolside. This is a classification in the women's race. In the women's events that Great Britain have pretty much dominated at these championships, and they've got 2 representatives in this one. Jessica Jane Applegate in 4 and Louise Fides in lane number 5. So with the exception of the breaststroke, Liz, Great Britain have taken all the medals in the women's races.
Yeah, and this might be the one event where the other nations look to break that up. Like along with the breaststroke, but the butterfly is probably the one where they haven't got quite as much dominance. The British swimmers, they're not coming in with the fastest time. Jessica Jane Applegate there in that red hat in lane 4. She's the 2nd fastest qualifier. But the 3 fastest qualifiers not separated by just over a second. So it's tight if it goes to personal best times and on what it looks like on paper. But we know paper counts for nothing. And Applegate going out strongly there. 30.58 for the Brit at the turn.
Kajamata from Thailand splits the 2 Great Britain swimmers there, but Jessica Jane Applegate looking really good here She has taken 2 silver medals behind her teammate Bethany Firth in the individual medley and in the 200 freestyle. And she'll be looking just to secure that place in the final. Jessica Jane Applegate coming home now. Her entry time was 106.18 and she's just outside of that, 106.77 for Applegate. Louise Fides following her in 2.6 seconds behind her, 109.43. And Janina Falk from Austria, the Austrian Paralympic swimmer, in third place in 110.57. So good swim there in the heats from the 2 GB swimmers.
Yep, you can see them smiling, and again, Louise Fides, she finished very strongly there. She had a mixed week by her own standards, picked up a few medals. Her breaststroke maybe didn't go as well as she'd hoped for, but there she looked very strong in that second 50 to go from third at the turn to second at the finish. And Applegate, a versatile swimmer, has lots of different events. We saw her back in the 200 metres individual medley here at these World Championships. But again, as a heat swim goes, that's probably her best one of the week.
Yeah, she was right at the front of the field from the very start of this 100 butterfly. Louise Fides just in third place at the turn, came through to second at the end of that white cap. She's had some very good finishes. She had a great finish in the individual medley and also in the 200 freestyle to claim bronze medals after, well, seemingly being out of it at the early stages of races. Louise Fides has come through really strongly at the end. That's what she did there in the heat to claim that second position. So Great Britain with Jessica Jane Applegate and Louise Fides 1 and 2. Janina Falk in a good position to qualify for the final. The second heat now. It sees 2 Australians in the middle lanes and another Great Britain swimmer, Poppy Maskell, going in lane number 3. Maskell, winner of the silver medal in the 100 backstroke earlier in the week. It's a great debut for Poppy Maskell. She was part of the medley relay team as well. Great Britain won that gold medal yesterday by 1/100th of a second from the Australians. And Paige Leonhardt there in lane number 4. Next to her teammate Ruby Storm, the 2 yellow caps of Australia are leading them out down this first 50. Very close though. Maskell in third place for Great Britain.
Yeah, Paige Leonhardt going out very well there, down that first 50. She is the pre-event favourite coming into this, and she's looking strong there. She's opened up about a body length lead there on her compatriot Ruby Storm and Great Britain's Poppy Maskell. But Poppy Maskell is coming back strongly. She's gone past the first of the Australians. She's trying to stick on the feet of Paige Leonhardt, but as they come into the wall, Leonhardt looking very, very strong.
Yeah, Leonhardt looking good, 106.00. Slightly ahead of the first heat. Jessica Jane Applegate, another good finish from Poppy Maskell. She has been performing really well in her first major championships. Poppy Maskell, a newcomer to the GB team. And she's fitted in very nicely. Ruby Storm in third position there in that heat. And the women for Great Britain, as I said, very, very strong, Liz. And Poppy Maskell has come in and immediately she's been close to the top, you know, competing at the very top of the world rankings. And that's because nationally in Great Britain, of course, you really have to be right up there with the very best to actually make the team in the first place.
Yeah, we talk about it in different classification groups in different countries. We talked about it earlier when Mackenzie Cone was swimming. The United States of America got very good domestic competition in the S7 classifications, and then we see that those results translate through to the global competitions. The Spanish athletes got very good S9 female competition and domestically, and then that comes through, and here we see the British females benefit from that domestic competition as well. But it applies to a lot of different countries in a lot of different classifications. We've seen the Mexicans doing very well in the S3 classification, but Paige Leonhardt will be looking to spoil that party for Great Britain tonight.
She will indeed, and she goes into the final in first position. Paige Leonhardt from Australia heads the 3 swimmers from Great Britain, and her countrymate Ruby Storm in 5th position. Leonhardt trying to get on top of that medal podium for the Aussie team. They would love to get one over on the GB competitors after that relay result last night. 1/100th of a second splitting them. Promises to be a good final tonight in that women's race. The men's race is on its way now. 2 heats of this one. There's Rhys Dunn, the championship record holder for Great Britain, member of that relay team last night. He goes in that centre lane. Rhys Dunn is one of these swimmers who kind of came through World Championships in 2019, had such a good World Games back then, and also the Paralympic Games in Tokyo. He was Great Britain's most decorated athlete in those Paralympic Games last year. So Rhys Dunn, he hasn't been able to hit the medal podium as an individual at these championships. He'll be looking to make amends in what is considered to be one of his main events, this 100 butterfly.
Yeah, Rhys Dunn really strong in this one, like you said. He hasn't come in, he hasn't had the results that he would have hoped for here so far, but he has got a really strong butterfly. He swam well in that relay last night. He did swim the butterfly leg, and he started well here. That white cap on the left of your screen, but also going well is breaststroke champion Naohide Yamaguchi of Japan.
Hillhouse as well, who won a medal in the backstroke for Denmark, right up there in lane number 2, challenging Rhys Dunn in the early stages, but Rhys Dunn, there's not much to choose between all of the field, but Rhys Dunn just with the edge there as they come down to the last 15 metres. Just looks like he's going to hold off the challenge of the rest of the field. Hillhouse going well. Lane number 5 is Yamaguchi, the breaststroke champion. It's going to be in 3rd, I think. But Rhys Dunn takes it, 57.48 for the Great Britain swimmer. Hillhouse in 2nd, another good swim from the Dane. And in 3rd place was Yamaguchi from Japan, just ahead of Robert Isaac Jonsson.
Well, that man there, Hillhouse, having a great competition here. We saw him finish very strongly and to take that medal earlier in the week. And there in that 100 metres butterfly, he just built the whole way through the 100 metres. As he went into the turn, he just sneaked that touch from Yamaguchi, and then when he turned to go back and head for home, he just got stronger and stronger and stronger. Great swim from lane 2. Hillhouse is having a brilliant championships.
Yeah, he is, the young Danish swimmer. Again, another good performance in the heats for the 18-year-old. But Rhys Dunn just controlled that one at the front of the field. Just able to hold off the challenge of the others in that one. And taking it in 57.48. Very, very close contest there for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. But Rhys Dunn should be safely into the final. 6 swimmers in the 2nd heat, so Hillhouse will be guaranteed a place in that final as well. Yamaguchi and Jonsson will be looking on with interest for heat number 2. We see some of the form swimmers at these championships this week, including the world record holder Gabriel Bandeira of Brazil. Set that world record just about a month ago in Sao Paulo. But either side of him is Nicholas Bennett of Canada in lane number 3 and Ben Hans of Australia in lane number 5, both of whom have been swimming exceptionally well in these championships.
Yeah, and it's really opened up this men's S14 classification side of the draw, and you can see it's backstroke world record holder Benjamin Hans of Australia that leads at the turn, 26.41 from Madeira there, 26.53, and it is Nicholas Bennett of Canada, 27.13 at the turn, but now going very, very well is Bandera. He's starting to move through and edge ahead of Hans after that early lead for the Australian.
Yeah, Bandera will take it in 57.12 with Hans in second, and it's Cho Won-sang of Korea who gets in for the third position. A very good swim there from Bandera. We've talked about his tactics this week, Liz. He seems to be swimming his races in a slightly different way than we've seen him in previous years.
Yeah, I think, again, we talk about the S14 athletes and how they one of their challenges is to respond to in-race tactics, and Bandera is a classic example of that. He went into Tokyo as a firm favourite in a number of events, but he swam them the way he'd planned, the way he'd been told to swim them before he got there, but it meant that when everyone else stepped up, he'd left it too late to respond. He would typically go out very slowly and then come back very strongly, but we're not seeing that here. We're seeing him attack that first half of the race a lot more strongly than we've seen him in the past, and then accelerating away from the field in the closing stages.
Yeah, he was strong there in the last quarter of that one. He takes that second heat ahead of Ben Hans, Cho Won-sang in third, Matsuda from Japan in fourth, Nicholas Bennett just on the wrong end of that touch, and that might be vital there for the Canadian. I don't think he's going to progress to the final, the Canadian, and that's a little bit of a surprise, but Bandera safely there. Rhys Dunn will be next to him. They will renew their rivalry in this 100 butterfly. Ben Hansen third, the impressive Alexander Hillhouse in fourth position as they go to that final. Well, relay on its way, Liz. We didn't say it yesterday, but everybody loves a relay.
It is correct. Everybody does love a relay, and these mixed 34-point relays have been quite the introduction, haven't they, to the program. They're bringing excitement, they're bringing drama, they're bringing medals.
They are. They're not bringing the Greek team though, because they don't start, unfortunately, but we do have Canada, Japan, Brazil, New Zealand, Spain. It's just going to be slightly easier for us today, Liz. It's a freestyle relay. Everybody swimming the so the teams can choose where to put their male and female swimmers. They can choose which classifications go in which order. New Zealand start with Cameron Leslie, their S4 swimmer. So expect them to be behind in the early stages. Got Jack Gill from Canada in line number 2. Akito Minai, S10 swimmer from Japan in line number 3. Mariana Ribeiro from Brazil, fresh from her 50 freestyle, goes out first for the Brazilian team. But the men, they expect to get off to an early start. Jack Gill and Akito Minai.
Yeah, and you can see in lane 5 there that it looks like there's a gap, but Cameron Leslie is an S4 athlete, so he's going off for the New Zealand athletes. So we expect them to be a bit down in the early stages, and then they've backloaded their team with what they've got available to them, the 10s and the 9s, and they'll look to try and get back in. But going well at the top of the screen, it is Jack Gill of Canada. He's a male S10 going along at Akito Minai of Japan, who's also a male S10. So they are going head to head with Jacobo Garrido Brun, an S9 athlete for Spain. And it's those three that you can see in your shot at the moment as we come into the first 100, and Jacobo Garrido Brun will hand over to Naraya Marcus Soto of Spain.
Yeah, Spain have got a strong quartet here. Of course, a 34-point relay, so all the points of the classification numbers for the swimmers have to add up to no more than 34 points. So you see some lower classes and some higher classes combined here, but all the teams have different combinations today. The Canadians have gone out with their 2 male swimmers at first, and they will be burning 18 points on those first 2 swimmers. They'll have 16 points to come for the 2 female swimmers to follow. It's Japan, Kanon Fukuda in second position, clear in second there, although the Spanish team now with Noraya Marquez Soto, the winner of the backstroke yesterday, just coming back now and maybe bringing the Spanish into second place, although it's very, very close. Difficult to tell right across the pool, but it is going to be Canada we're going to lead at the halfway point. Spain now, yeah, clearly in second place. Marquez Soto will hand over to the S8 female swimmer, Zudara Barezzo.
Well, in the water for Canada now, it is Ariana Hunziker, their S10 swimmer, and she will hand over to Shelby Newkirk, who will swim the last leg for Canada, an S6 athlete. So Canada have indeed front-loaded their team here. The Spanish still going very well there in lane 7 with Zuder Barrezo, and also going well, it is New Zealand. Everybody now, it can still go anyway at this point. The Canadians will try to hold on to that advantage that they've built up in the water for Brazil. It's Daniel Xavier Mendes. He took over from Geronimo, the S8 athlete, and he will hand over to Felipe Melo Rodriguez, the S10 athlete. So the Brazilians have backloaded their team, but coming into the wall now for the final takeover, it is Hunziker as she passes to Shelby Newkirk, and Canada are still holding on to that lead.
They are indeed. Shelby Newkirk, the S6 swimmer, the S6 female swimmer. Japan will go with an S6 male swimmer as well. The Spanish are in with Inigo Lopez Sanz, their S8 swimmer, and he's going to try to hold off the challenge of Felipe Rodriguez, the S10 swimmer for Brazil. It could all change about here. It is Canada and Spain now fighting it out for the lead. I think the Brazilians are going to eclipse the Japanese here, with Shelby Newkirk coming to that final turn for Canada, just holding off Inigo Lopez Sanz. But here is Felipe Rodriguez overtaking Hinata here as he goes over into that last turn. Brazil now will be trying to catch up the 2 ahead of him. It's a close contest here. Inigo Lopez Sanz just overtaking Shelby Newkirk. Not sure if Rodriguez is going to get back on terms with Spain. He may well catch Canada though as they're coming down to the final stages here. Lopez Sanz is going to bring the Spanish team home in front. It is going to be second place for Brazil. Rodriguez coming through as the Brazilians backloaded their team, with Shelby Newkirk just in third place for Canada, and Hinata will hold off the challenge of Joshua Wilmer on that final leg for New Zealand. Hinata getting in for Japan in fourth position, with New Zealand in fifth place in that heat. But as we thought, Liz, it all kind of closed about a little bit at the back. But Spain, they had a good combination, a very balanced combination, 2 9s and 2 8s.
Yeah, and the Spanish team, they are really enjoying this new mixed format in the past, but they've had very strong relay squads, both male and female, but they've typically had to swim that lower classification swimmer, typically in S5, maybe in Teresa Morales, or maybe Antipon Sutan, or even Sebastian Rodriguez, but here they are benefiting from those 2 8s and 2 9s. And the Canadians, great to see them with a team, and they front-loaded that team. They gave themselves a really good chance there, but as you would expect with an S6 athlete on the last leg, they will be the ones being chased down, and then it's a question of can you hold on. And while we wait for those results to come in, I think we should mention the New Zealanders. They've got a very young squad here. They're one of their most experienced athletes who would love to be swimming a relay. Sophie Pascoe sitting out these World Championships to prepare for Commonwealth Games. So they've got people that they can bring into this in the future. But it's great that they're in a position that they can still field a team.
Yeah, great to see New Zealanders in that one. I wonder if that's going to be enough for the final. They finished in fifth position, so they could be in trouble with another heat to come. But of course, it is a relay. We expect drama. The result not official yet, but it has just been made official. Oh, well, drama it is in this heat because we have a disqualification. That's the names of the swimmers there, not the names of the teams, but on our system, Brazil have been disqualified. That is a shock. Brazil, we thought, might be a contender for the medals, but we're not going to get that opportunity as it stands. Spain confirmed as the winners, ahead of Canada, ahead of Japan. New Zealand now in 4th position. Mexico not taking the start for this one, but we do have 6 teams. And 6 teams, well, many of them could be contenders for the medals here, Liz. Could go absolutely anywhere.
Yep, there's definitely some strong quartets there. That one in the centre of your picture, Italy, with Antonio Fantine going to lead them off. The S6 male world record holder in the 100 metres freestyle event, so expect a fast start from him.
Yeah, there's Fantine, there's Morgan Stickney for the USA. We'll start with their 2 female swimmers. Just bringing you the result of that previous heat. Spain confirmed to take that one ahead of Canada, ahead of Japan and New Zealand, with the Brazilian disqualification made official on that result. Fantine goes from the water. Here's the lower classification. They will build towards the S10 swimmers at the end, the Italians. Morgan Stickney there from the USA, just on the right hand side of the shot, but going out fast in lane number 2. It's Ollie Carter from the Great Britain team. He performed in the relay a couple of days ago. He was in the 100 freestyle yesterday. Disappointed by that performance, so he's trying to make amends on this first leg of the relay today.
Yeah, he's the male S10 athlete for Great Britain. They have bookended their team with 2 male S10 athletes, so they will look to get the advantage here, as he's probably the strongest swimmer in the pool at the moment in terms of time. But going well in lane 7 for Argentina is that purple hat of Inaki Vasilov. He's having a great meet here this week. He's an S7 swimmer for Argentina, so they're building through their team as well. And Great Britain have handed over to Alice Ty. Alice Ty is now in the water. She's an S8 athlete, so she's leading the way. She will look to consolidate that lead that Carter opened up. And Dani Jimenez, another swimmer we're seeing back in the water, fresh from that 50-metre freestyle just a few heats ago on this second leg for Argentina, trying to chase Alice Ty down, but now in the centre of the lane you can see the charge coming from those athletes in the middle.
Yeah, and that's the French team, the Italians and the USA as well. They're very much in contention here. Australia started off with Rachel Watson, their S4 swimmer, and they have got a strong finish as well. They've got Rowan Crothers in the water, the Australians, so expect them to make up some ground, but it's very, very tight all the way across the pool here. Alice Ty is going to still have the lead for the Great Britain team. In lane 7, Argentina with Dani Jimenez going to hold on to 2nd position. It is Lauren Chardard bringing the French through into 3rd spot. Palazzo for Italy in 4th. And in 5th place, Lizzie Smith will hand over to Matthew Torres. The Australians behind at the moment, but I can see them pulling through the field here as they touch now.
Well, Matthew Torres of the USA has had a good start there on that 3rd leg. He will be handing over to freestyle specialist Jamal Hill. So the Americans have a very strong finish, but at the moment it is Alessia Scotacchini just 1 lane up from Torres, managing to hold off the challenge. And Grace Harvey still going very well for Great Britain, but now comes through Emmeline Pierre of France. She is an S10 athlete as she just overhauls the British S6 swimmer, and it's all coming 2 ahead with 25 meters to go of the third leg of this relay.
Well, Great Britain have got James Hollis, their S10 swimmer, male swimmer, on the last leg, so they'll have a good chance here. But Italy have Menciotti on this final leg. Ugo Didier goes for France. He will be strong. And also going for the USA, Jamal Hill. So these 3 teams that have gone away, they've taken the lead, all with very strong finishing swimmers here. Lakeisha Patterson is in for Australia, James Hollis in for Great Britain, but the leading 3, Jamal Hill, maybe just hitting the front here as they come to this final turn.
And as those swimmers come to the final turn, Nicholas Neto enters the water for Argentina, but all eyes are on these centre lanes. Jamal Hill just with that advantage as he came off the turn, a very good turn there for the American athlete closest to us in the screen. Menciotti trying for Italy to come back on him, but going very, very well. It is in lane 3, France's Ugo Didier.
Yeah, Didier, I think, is going to bring France home in front. A good performance from the French team there. It will be second, I think, to the Italians. Menciotti just getting in there. Jamal Hill in third position. And it is James Hollis in fourth for Great Britain. Lakeisha Patterson coming in now for the Australian team, just finishing ahead of the Argentinians. And that might well be vital for the Australians to make it into that final tonight. The Italians swam well, but the French swam extremely well. European record for the French team there in first position, anchored by Ugo Didier. But it was all pretty tight, wasn't it, Liz? That was an exciting one.
Yeah, there was some well-balanced quartets in there, and Ugo Didier of France came through very strongly. We'll just wait on those results. We know not to get ahead of ourselves. Great to see Lakeisha Patterson in the water. She's been out of most of her program this week due to illness, but she's made it back in time for this relay. And the Australians, always so strong in the relays in these 34-point events.
Oh, still waiting for the official result. All smiles to the French. There, they swam very good heat there. European record time, that was excellent. It's a relatively new event, but the Italians held the record from a European point of view in 4:12.31. It's now 4:12.19. There's Jamal Hill, who went in that last leg for the USA. It's all pretty close in the early stages. Ollie Carter gave Great Britain a lead there, handing over to Alice Ty. Grace Harvey on that third leg for Great Britain went in with a lead ahead of the Argentinians. The French there with Laurent Chardard touching in third position there as he went in. And Grace Harvey couldn't quite hold the lead for Great Britain, but they had a strong last swimmer, James Hollis, but the other teams had very strong finishes as well. The French with Didier, Menciotti, Jamal Hill. Oh, we're just looking at the screen, Liz, and the drama continues. Oh.
It wouldn't be a relay if there wasn't any drama.
Well, the French celebrating in the water, but I'm not sure they're going to be celebrating when they see the scoreboard, because there is a disqualification for the French team here. Oh, and that is a shock. They had such a good quartet. Italy take that heat, USA in second, Great Britain in third, Australia in fourth position, just ahead of the Argentinian quartet. Well, drama again here in the relays. The French team, they will be absolutely bitterly disappointed with that one.
Absolutely gutted. Should we go with that?
Well,
that sounds
gutted.
better than absolutely disappointed. Doesn't really. No, you're right. They
Absolutely.
will be devastated, I think.
Yeah, that's better.
Relays always happen. There's always some drama. There's always the chance to go back now, and they'll look at the footage and they'll decide whether they're going to try and appeal that disqualification. Obviously, we up here don't get that information as to why, and also there's so much going on. We don't even probably notice a lot of the time why that might happen. But yes, more drama again.
Well, the results are confirmed in the relay. We have a couple of medal presentations for us to enjoy before we close the session this morning. And we'll leave you with the women's 200 freestyle for the S2 classification.
And the Regional Department of Tourism.
Diretora da Informação Turística, Projetos e Eventos do Departamento Regional de Turismo, Bárbara Spínola.
The winner of the gold medal and world champion, representing Italy.
A vencedora da medalha de ouro e campeã do mundo em representação da Itália,
Angela Procida. Please rise if you are able for the national anthem of Italy.
Por favor, levantem-se, se possível, para o hino nacional de Itália.
Madeira, your medal winners.
Madeira, palmas para a medalhada.
The winner of the bronze medal, representing Brazil.
Cerimónia de vitória para os 200 metros livres femininos classe S3.
Victory ceremony for the women's 200 freestyle S3. Winner of the bronze medal, representing Brazil.
Vencedora da medalha de bronze em representação do Brasil,
Larissa Rodrigues. Winner of the silver medal, representing Canada.
vencedora da medalha de prata em representação do Canadá,
Nikita Enns. The winner of the gold medal and world champion representing United States of America.
vencedora da medalha de ouro e campeã do mundo em representação dos Estados Unidos da América,
Leanne Smith. Please rise if you are able for the national anthem of the United States of America.
por favor, levantem-se, se possível, para o hino dos Estados Unidos da América.
Madeira, your medal winner.
Madeira, palmas para as medalhadas.
Another gold medal for Leanne Smith of the USA, and she looks like she is on her way to becoming the most successful athlete at these championships. What a great championship she's had, Liz.
Yeah, she's done really well. She's had loads of events we've seen some events be reintroduced to this program, and Leanne Smith and the United States of America have taken advantage of that, and she's having a brilliant competition.
Well, add another gold medal. I wonder if there can be any movement tonight in the final session here from Madeira at these World Championships 2022. One more session to go, Liz. We're looking forward to it. Should be a cracker, shouldn't it?
Yeah, lots of exciting races still to go. Some athletes with their main event, they've been waiting all week for this one, so you can be sure that we were going to see some mighty showdowns to finish off what's been an incredible week of competition at these World Championships.
Well, we've got another 20 plus finals to enjoy tonight. We've got more world titles to hand out. The action all takes place at 1700 hours local time here from Madeira. We will be back tonight for the very final session of these World Championships, and we hope you are able to join us. Bye for now.